Will we get GPT-5 today? Sam Altman and the crew over at OpenAI have some really big and really small announcements today. And as of now, the latest news, we don't have GPT-5. But what we do know is that it's actually coming down into the pipeline. And today, we're just going to take a look at kind of where we are today. How large is the GPT-5 model going to be? And how does that compare to GPT-4 in previous releases? And today, if we would just kind of go into what's been happening on X, Sam Altman has actually said, just right now this morning, about like less than 10 minutes ago, says, we have a lot of stuff for you over the next few days. Something big but small today. So, and then a big upgrade later this week. So this could be it. It could be that GPT-5 could be launching this week. We don't really know. And I was hoping that it would launch today. Typically, the model makers like this like to drop models on Tuesdays. And it doesn't surprise me that for something this big and so profound, maybe not be so predictable, because what has happened in the past is like models like Google and every single other provider will also like try to stagger their model releases right around the same time to try to suck up some of the air. So I don't know if you realize this, but the folks at OpenAI are extremely good at their media, and they're really good at trying to throw their competitors off and stuff. So maybe they can leak things to other employees or something, and then they'll get the rumors out there. So you may be seeing drops from other model companies doing today, and everyone's just kind of watching from the sidelines. I just kind of want to get your guys' take on it. Like, how are you guys feeling about this? Are you ready for GPT-5? It's about to blow up. I mean, we're hearing so many different news and things. And I want to kind of get you to this, like this guy, I don't know where this guy comes from, but he actually showed up on my timeline. And I thought it was really interesting because he basically just did a rumor breakdown of what could be happening in GPT-5. And so basically it says ton of stuff to launch over the next couple of days. And here's what's happening. And so what he says here is that say goodbye to choosing models. So GPT-5 in his like rumor here will say it would be a single unified system, and it would automatically decide whether, like, you know, it should do reasoning, creativity, or any other stuff. So basically what you're saying is like the problem they've had before, if you've ever used ChatGPT, is that you're like, which model do I select? I introduce friends to it. It's like, hey, this can help you with your finance analysis. And they're like, Bray, which one should I choose? 4.0, 03, 01 Pro. I think at that time, there's just so many different ones to choose from, like 03 Pro. And it's like, oh my God. And I think with GPT-5, basically, they're trying to unify that in one system, and they're leveraging the intelligence of the model, and then their own software stack is pretty much taking care of the rest of it, which I actually prefer. And I think that's the way maybe the future of things should go. For those who don't know, whenever a model name goes from like GPT-3 to GPT-4, it's actually a 100x leap in terms of parameter size and model intelligence and everything like that for all the benchmarks. So whenever they're actually doing a major version bump from like GPT-3 to GPT-4, that's 100x times. 100x times, which is crazy. And so if we're thinking GPT-3 to GPT-4, that's when like ChatGPT really blew up, where people were actually like coding with it a lot. They were doing it in GPT 3.5. It would hallucinate a lot, but GPT-4 was like the, oh my God, I need to have all the intelligence type of model. GPT-4 was like almost like 24, 36 months ago or something like that. GPT-5 is 100x from that. Y'all know what we're playing with? This is some fire right now. I don't even know. They're posting some images online, and you've probably seen them with like the little thing and then like the just giant globe. That's basically 100 times difference if you actually start to do the math for it. Like they'll show something that's like a little pin dot and then something that's basically 100x bigger. And that's the perspective of what they're trying to like really portray here. It's like the model is so big, but just because it's big doesn't necessarily mean that right off the get-go, it's going to be like taking over all of our jobs and everything like that. So I just kind of want to make you aware about how big these models are and what's happening now. We're going to see this new era of people making tooling to leverage the intelligence of the model, because you can start to give it a lot of different types of things, and it's going to be able to map more of the general intelligence so that we can use it in our daily lives. And I think this is going to be a really interesting play for how we're going to be basically getting into this whole flow. I just want to give a quick shout out to my members and everyone who's rolling through. So Emmanuel, I really doubt this is going to be released today. Of course, we don't know, right? Like this is, how's it going? Get Next, how's it going? GPT-5 mini. Bro, we got to stop with these model names. I swear to God. Eddie Steve, yo, what's happening, man? Sam Altman confirmed this Thursday. Oh, did he? I gotta check the tweets real quick. If he confirmed that. I love my audience, by the way. Everyone's like tuning in super live and stuff like that. At GitMax, yeah. Wasn't the rumor saying that GPT-5 was being delayed again? I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they are just trying to see who's trying to drop stuff. I feel like there's this weird game of chicken going on, but I mean, they're cooking. So I mean, it sounds like people are testing it and doing some stuff inside. The Horizon Alpha was a first glimpse. Maybe. It could have been like a reasoning model. It could have been a non-reasoning model. It'd have been interesting. Manual transition or automatic. Yeah. They just showed off a CLI. Whoa. Okay. Aiden Clark. Let me pop this in real quick like that. So that'd be really cool. I'll have to look that up real quick. Oh man, it doesn't let me. Oh, I can copy the text and put it into my thing, bro. If you get me, okay. So here is. Let me just kind of get this URL up here real quick, and that way we can kind of pop this in and see what's going on. Oh, okay. So this is the CLI that they released. So it's like what is it? Okay. I have a big morning today. My desktop is so cluttered. Can you move everything to the trash? Assistant. Ooh. Okay. Ah, that's cute. That's super cute. User is grateful. Wi-Fi off. I have a big morning. So is this like Open Interpreter? Like there was a CLI and they were supposed to release a device where you can talk to it and do these types of commands and it would control your computer. This is like their version of it. Looks like it. I'm curious to see what model's actually running in the background too. So, wow. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Like, I like this. And I think that's probably like what they're talking about as far as like the little release. This is pretty cool. I'll have to like it and kind of come back to this. Yeah, thanks for sharing that link. Yeah, Bilal definitely came through with that whole link right here. So definitely appreciate that. How's it going, man? We just found out they basically just dropped a CLI. That's kind of cute. There's skepticism of how bigger the size or whatever translates to being much better than GPT-4. It could be 100x in size and be like 1.5 times better. That is correct, Elal Chess. I think, like I said, like the tooling and everything else that will come around it will be kind of what ends up happening. Every time there's a model release, this tends to happen. There's a big refactoring of things. And when I say refactoring of things, there's traditional ways of doing things. And probably the best way to think about it is Andrei Karpathy, who's worked on these systems for a very long time. He's also used to work at Tesla and headed up a lot of these types of ventures. And one of the things was that he says when they were doing this whole neural network stuff, they actually had to start removing code because they were making decisions in the software based off of objects and various things that were like all these if-else statements, right? If you hit this traffic light and you do this condition, make sure you do that type of thing, right? And so what they started doing when they started training these language models to be more general and collect these terabytes of data on the car with like 8 different cameras all around, they made their own system inside of Tesla to do this type of thing. There's like these really cool interviews with these engineers who are talking about all the different camera systems and like this whole system that will feed into like an entire pipeline that would like analyze these images at like crazy speeds, right? So they had to train these models to do these types of things, and they can actually understand them at a speed that like we don't really understand, and they can actually adjust in real time based off the environment. And so whenever you have like a new model that drops, right? And they've trained all this on all this data now with all these cars, they have to now start removing that code and then putting new code in to deal with how the model is going to respond, with accuracy at an X amount of time, right? So that type of thing is nice because now you can start removing these pieces, and that's the same thing that's going to happen with everyone else's software from here on forward, right? So everyone who's made assumptions about how the model works today, like right now the problem I have is like I have to generate these PRDs, right? In order for my idea to come to life, like the first prototype is cute, but it doesn't really happen after that. I can't get the Stripe connected. I can't get my database set up. I can't, I have to set up all these different templates and do all these different types of things. But whenever you have like a bigger model that comes in, all those assumptions you made have to kind of get thrown out the window, and you have to put the new perspective on, like you're 5 years old again, and start just asking it and seeing what happens. And that's how you're going to really push the model and really start to understand what it's very capable of and what its general intelligence level is. And that's just the way that I approach testing models. It's like you have to reset that brain. You have to come at it again. Any assumptions you made, don't put that in, just see what happens, in and out as far as like data. So yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, they showed off a CLI. Personally, I'm excited for GPT 5.10 mini high. Bro, stop. so many of these model names coming up. So super crazy. Let's see. The desktop looks pretty standard. I mean, Command A delete. Yeah, I mean, for real. I think this might be Claude Code or their version of it. I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be really interesting. What's the link to the CLI? I think, is it on their website? I'm not really sure. If somebody's got the link, for sure, drop it in the chat. It's called Horizon Beta now, by the way. It's been generating lots of data for a language learning project, and the quality is insane. Oh, so the Horizon Beta, I think that's the one you're saying that is like the code name that's currently being tested on there are already GPT-5 previews on Windsurf, next beta version, all named after Pokemons. You can try them for free. Are you serious? Is that for real? Like, I don't have a Windsurf subscription anymore. Low key. If I don't know, I don't. Would I sign up for it? I'll probably just wait. Just released the renderer for Harmony response format to be used in GPT OSS, open source software. Yeah, anyone can use it on OpenRouter. Okay, so OpenRouter has the actual stuff available. Let's go ahead and take a look right here. OpenRouter. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So I think it's called Horizon. Horizon. Let me also change my camera angle if y'all cooking with me. Horizon Beta, let's go. Okay, so all prompts and completions for this model are logged by the provider, may be used to improve the model. Okay, so this dropped August 1st, 256,000 token context window. Okay, programming science. This is cloaked model, and they're just looking for feedback, basically. So, okay, so they kind of nerfed the model, maybe. Like, I doubt they would just give all the specs right away. And it's free. And the throughput, okay. Damn, this is fire. Okay, so the Horizon Beta is basically our model. They don't give much details after that, but that will be interesting. Can I just chat with it? Can we just chill? Okay. Oh my God, the strawberry test, please. App. Oh, wow. I could do a web search too? Okay. Yeah, okay. So I don't know, like, I kind of want to pull up repo prompt and see if it can like refactor something or do something really, really cool. You know what I'll do? I'll give it a really vague prompt that I have. And one of my vague prompts that I have is like dealing with, oh, you can see my little light up here. my bad. I just got the show ready. One of the vague prompts I have is about generating an app using OpenAI. And I want to basically make an image generator. And I'm curious to see if it can make a better PRD for me. Because my prompt, I don't know if you know, it's kind of all over the place because of the way that I like to prompt. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go just test it out right now, right? I mean, this is not live, but we're assuming this is GPT-5. So this is my prompt. So this is something I did live the other day where I basically said, I want an AI image app that will let a user upload images. And at the beginning, show a gallery of existing images. So this is kind of what we're doing. And it should have access to the web. And I'm referencing OpenAI's own cookbooks and stuff. And we're going to see if I can say if it can help me generate, let's see here. Help me generate a PRD for this idea. And then shift enter, paste. And then I'll also let it do a web search. So let's let it cook. I'm just curious. Like, this would be really cool if it nails it. Bro, you can't be returning errors like that, bro. Come on, let's go. Provider, return to error. Oh, come on, bro. Come on. Let's go. One more game. Oh, you're kidding me, bro. Okay, so what if I just turn off web search? Is it just going to... Really? Because I'm live right now, are y'all spamming it right now? I think that's what happened. Low key, right? I mean, what if they just shut us off? They're like, we're watching. Oh, okay. I like this. Let's go, fam. Let's go. Thank you for stopping your usage so I can get this little prompt in. I didn't realize it was like that unreliable. Great, you can test multiple models at the same time. Okay, grace it with a 30,000 word novella. Yeah. I'm just giving it something simple right now. It should be able to chew on this and cook. Boy, it's cooking. What's behind you, Ray? Is that a fountain or something with the blinking lights? Yeah, that's actually a fountain. I have a fountain back there. It's like super chill. And yeah, I don't know if you can kind of see. Yeah, it's like a real live fountain. It's not like one of those, Zoom background type of things. It's actually a real thing. This is my studio. This is where I cook. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, so many 429s. Yeah, keep trying. Okay. Yeah. All right, fam. Let's see what we got. Check it out. Okay. I mess with this. Y'all want to throw this in Claude Code right now and just let it cook? Oh, I'll throw it in V0. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So Arc is a mobile first AI image app that lets users upload. Oh, come on. I hate this. I'm going to do the plus size for the stream. Okay. Wow. Goals and non-goals. Deliver a native mobile. Non-goals. Advanced pro controls. Flying controls. All right. So let's just throw this head to head right now against Opus. I'm really curious, right? Like if this model is supposed to be like, basically God mode. Is Opus on that level too, right? I'm just curious. We're assuming this is GPT-5. Assuming. Y'all think this is GPT-5? Drop it in the chat for sure. Let's go. So I'm literally going to copy the same prompt. I'm going to say, help me generate a PRD for this. And we'll just let it cook. See, the thing, this didn't have access to the internet. I'm super curious if I did the web search, if it can actually pull in more of the API spec. But I'm just going to go pound for pound for like what Claude is cooking with right for us. And we'll just see what that's all about. So, all right, fam. I'm going to do this. I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to extended thinking. Yes, please. I'm going to turn off web search for now, just to match the same level because I didn't want to. And then I might do another chat where I have the web search enabled. All right. So, okay, we have extended thinking. I have this. And then I'm going to turn from Claude Sonnet to Opus, because Opus is supposed to be beast mode right now. Let's go. Let's see. It's going to supposedly help me generate a PRD. And I notice, I don't know if they're like not revealing the thinking tokens here. I'm just really curious. So initial performance load. Okay. I mean, this is a nice PRD. And I captured some of these requirements, by the way. This is from, it must know about, okay, this is really weird because this is in the documentation, but it's not in my PRD, like these specific requirements. But it must know it from its training set about them because there's nothing in here that says it knows about GPT OpenAI image API somehow. That's interesting. So it must be trained on it. Yeah, they know the secrets. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is cute. And then even has a little generate function. Okay. Reference docs. Wow. This is really cool, actually. So let's just see what Claude's cooking with here too. All right. So I kind of like the Opus layout. I mean, obviously the markdown rendering in the Anthropic app is going to be really good because is what it is. So consistency first, personas. I kind of like that it's giving me personas. That's an interesting approach here. This talks about the core features, which is nice. And what I like about this is basically taking my raw thinking about what I want into an app and just kind of producing it into this type of way. One of the problems I have is because, and this is the current era of 2025 prompting. Once you have these things and everyone's talking about context route, this type of thing could actually go away like in a year or two, right? Literally when they have tooling available to help like manage the context. When you have such an intelligent model, when these parameters get really large, you can feed it raw things and it'll start to do these multi-step processes where other models will start stepping in and start to try to understand what is happening. So what's interesting, what I like about what Opus is doing in that process, right? Unprompted, it's bringing up this persona. And this persona is super important because the questions you will ask later on in terms of your user interfaces are all going to be derived on this type of focus. And there's a reason why this is actually put at the very top, is because the decision-making that goes here on forward has to be anchored from this type of persona. And those personas and those personalities have all these relationships in the data sets all over these large language models. So when you say like 18 to 20, whatever year old, and you say whatever, it has a lot of these like I say, relationships across the data. And you can think of them kind of like, I call them anchors, right? There's these little icebergs that are all over the world. And like you just go to the, 18 to 20-year-old iceberg and you just start to go really deep. And so whenever you start to like pull them in, you start to pull those capsules of knowledge of the world together. So then your prompts going forward will then start to have those like access ways. So it's kind of like building a little mini team, if you can think about it, right? So if you have like someone who's super really good at TypeScript, but then they suck at iOS, you just find the iOS guy and then you start talking together like, we're going to build an app. You're going to build the back end. You're going to build the actual client app. And then in the discussions, you start to kind of pull together everyone's knowledge base to make something that's really unique or rich or whatever. And that's how you kind of start to invent the new technologies. So you as a human being are the sort of orchestrator of this. And so this is kind of a little bit of, what I call prompt theory. But this is really interesting as far as how they're organizing this type of information. And spitting it out for this, like this is kind of like low-key intelligence that's not really spoken about, if you know what I mean. Let's see. API integration. So this doesn't talk about the actual spec. Oh, it does. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Wow. User engagement. This is a banger PRD, by the way. Both of them are bangers, but that Claude. Damn. Okay, drop it in the chat. Which PRD just from my scrolling do you prefer? Have you had experiences using these types of things and generating PRDs? I literally just gave it this generate PRD based off my crazy wild idea. Like, are you team right now? Are you team Claude? Are you team Horizon, aka GPT-5, aka OpenAI's GPT-5 secret model, aka I don't know what the heck that is type of thing? Drop it in the chat. I'm really curious because I want to see what people's got right now. I prefer Claude. As well. Okay. Oh, more news dropping. Yo, Anthropic's coming in. Okay. Damn, Bilal's coming in with the heat right now. Let me see. Let me just copy this text real quick. And then let me see what we're cooking with. Because like right now, the model wars are just heating up super hard. All right, let's go. Today, we're releasing Opus 4.1, bro. Bro, what is going on right now? Bilal with the heater right here. Thank you, Bilal. Bilal's like my anchor right now. He's just my assistant. He's just dropping some dimes right now. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I caught that. We have it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're releasing Claude Opus 4.1, an upgrade to Claude Opus 4 on agentic task, real world coding and reasoning. And so what they're showing here is May 2025. Bro, Opus has been out since May. That feels like last year. It got a minor spec bump, and then we plan to release substantially larger improvements to our models in the coming weeks, bro. So it's now available on paid Claude users and in Claude Code. Also available on our API. Read more here. Nice to have this available in Claude Code. Taking it for a spin soon. Holy guacamole, folks. We have it here. Claude Opus 4.1. They're talking about and then they're saying GitHub notes that 4.1 improves across its capabilities relative to 4. Rakuten Group finds, okay, so I'm also curious about the extended thinking part, because the extended thinking makes the intelligence level go even crazier. So I don't know if you realize this, but if you have Claude Sonnet 4 and you add extended thinking, that extended thinking is actually like scores higher than just straight up Opus 4 without extended thinking. So you have this kind of weird imbalance. You're like, which model should I use? So I should just use Sonnet 4 with extended thinking, because then now you have better than Opus level intelligence for a lot of the tasks. So I'm wondering with Opus 4.1, if by default, just no extended thinking, it's already going to be beating that. Maybe, I mean, that's what that bump looks like to me. And I'm just really curious here what that really means for us. So let's just see. GitHub notes that excels at pinpointing exact corrections within large code bases without making unnecessary adjustments or introducing bugs. Let me repeat that again. They find that Opus 1 excels at pinpointing exact corrections within large code bases without making unnecessary adjustments or introducing bugs. This is crazy. And this is really interesting because I want to check out, I'm going to reach out to the folks at AMP. There is this coding agent called AMP, and you have to pay for your token usage, but they have a really great orchestration layer. And it's basically Klein, but on steroids, right? Like it makes Klein look like a little like child, basically. And so AMP is amped up. You're going to pay for the token usage. And the AMP is already really good at like understanding large code bases in general. So when you throw this model into AMP, oh, those guys are going to be cooking. You're probably going to hear a lot more about people talking about using AMP with this model, because I think it's just game over, bro. It's game over. I think people actually prefer the AMP one over like Cursor's own little like agent. But I mean, if everyone gets this level of intelligence, it's really about what you do behind the scenes. But AMP is already cooking. So with their team preferring this precision for everyday debugging tasks. Wow. So Windsurf reports it delivers a 1 standard deviation improvement over Opus 4. My goodness. On their junior developer benchmark. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Dude, this is fire right now. Okay. Here we have it. 4.1, 4, Sonnet 4. So they don't show extended thinking in any of these. That's interesting. They just did straight up the model. Agentic terminal coding. Dude, look at that. For Gemini 2.5 Pro, this is why Claude Code is so good, because of its agentic terminal like coding, right? Like making shell commands and bash commands. Just absolutely crushing right now. Graduate level reasoning, agentic tool use. This is pretty much almost the same across the board. Multilingual QA. Yeah. Like visual reasoning. You have a lot of good visual reasoning between O3 and Gemini 2.5 Pro, by the way. So if you're thinking about that, you may want to use those models. High school math competition. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So they call it Opus 4.1 2025 05 08. Oh, 0805. Whoa. You can also explore the pricing page. So it should be the same price theoretically, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's still the same, 15 to 75, and then Sonnet 4. And so I think they're grouping Opus, Claude Opus 4.1 in the same camp as far as like price to intelligence. So yeah, okay. And then they have this guy there. Huh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Holy smokes. That was a really good find. Oh my God, Opus. I know this is supposed to be like a OpenAI stream, right? But they just kind of basically just took over the news flow. I mean, what are you guys rolling with? Are you going to try it? I mean, we got to try the new Opus 4.1. I got to go to the bathroom so bad. Like, oh man. But I'm on the stream for you guys. I'm here for you because this is really crazy. Let me just catch up on the chat because a lot of stuff has been happening and I just want to make sure I'm caught up on the news because I'm a little behind right now. So, okay. Let's see what's going on. We were talking about the novella, and then we also make sure that, can you try out if Opus 4.1 works in Claude Code? Use it under API models. I wonder if it needs an update. No, I think there's an open source model. Okay, there's people talking about other stuff here. Okay, people are saying they prefer Claude. Damn, Claude for life? Yeah, Claude with thinking for sure. Opus 4.1 is out. Yeah, we were just talking about that. That's so crazy. I prefer the Claude. Getting promised tomorrow for GPT, bro. You guys gotta chill right now. Chill. And more tomorrows until Sam feels like the hype is packed, all calculated, in my opinion, working. Likely he'll let Opus 4.1 drop and then nuke their buzz. This is exactly the playbook that I was kind of hinting at earlier at the stream. Is that like, these guys, like OpenAI team is so good at media and controlling the narrative. And what we're seeing here is probably this masterclass, whether you realize it or not. It's like they drop all the hints, they do all these little things, and like people think it's going to be coming this week, and they could be coming, and all the employees can think it's coming, and literally at the last minute they can be like, "Yep, we're going to chill for a bit. Google hasn't dropped their model yet. We're going to wait." Or, or like China hasn't dropped their model yet. You know, we're going to wait too, right? Like somebody told us on the inside that Meta is going to drop something. Do y'all know who Meta is? Like who's meta right now, right? Like, but what if they drop something that we don't even know, right? Like that's just, I mean, Sam Altman is a masterclass, like media extraordinaire. And I think it's going to go down in history as far as my boy, like knowing how to weave the media narrative from X to like social media to getting in people's thoughts and us talking about this right now. I think it's really cool because it's probably like the most life-changing technology we have in this world. And we're getting to play with it. It's just insane, right? So OpenRouter did do a good job at formatting so thin. So, oh my God, Opus. Yep. Yeah. In 99%, I use Claude Code. I don't think about that GPT-5 will change it. What would make you change your mind, by the way? I'm very used to Claude Code and even Opus 4.1. So like, let's just say Opus 4.1 right now is so good at debugging and finding your bugs and stuff like that. Will GPT-5 have to do the same or better? I'm just curious, right? Is it just the fact that the interface is in Claude Code? And what if, like, let's just say Cursor drops a $300 a month, like mega ultra, go ridiculous like you would with Claude Code. You know, we're just like, it's okay, but you have to pay $300 and you can just use it in Cursor as much as you want. Would you pay? I'm just curious. I'm just throwing different things around, right? Like infinite GPT-5, you know, $300 a month or $500 a month. And you could just agent code like all day, right? Like you can have 50 windows, you can do all the crazy stuff, but for $500 a month, would you pay that? I'm curious. And if like, let's just say it was the same level of Opus 4.1 for like debugging and everything. I'm curious, like drop it in the chat. I'm gonna get to you right now. I don't see 4.1 in Claude Code yet. Okay. Did you run that PRD with 4.1 or not public yet? You know what? I ran it and I'm not really, let's go ahead and check it because it should have ran in here, right? So Opus 4. Oh, I selected the drop down, but it wasn't live at the time that we did it. Family, we got to do this prompt now. Okay, let's do this whole prompt. I'm going to turn the internet on. I'm just going to go all the way in, bro. Claude AI, let's go. Let's go. We got to drop this PRD. Let's go. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Oh my God. Try it. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go. I'm so hyped right now. Okay. So we have this here. We got this here. We got extended thinking. I'm going to turn on the web search. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to do right now. I'm sweating. All right, let's go. Okay, 4.1. Make sure I'm not missing anything. More models. Okay. Dang, bro. I got more models than Hugh Hefner right now. Hey. Let's go, Playboys. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a level, like the next level up from Let Me Cook is going to be called Playboy because that means that you can play with a lot of models and you have access to lots of models. So if you're a Playboy, I'm going to do that. Playboy, Playgirl. Yo, that's going to be crazy. Actually, that's going to be fire. Let's go. Not going to lie, this model's fast. It's Opus 4.1. Wait, so Opus 4.1, right? Yeah. Dang. There's a new chat. So Sonnet says new chat. Oh, it will start a new chat if you basically start that model. Interesting. Wow. Okay. What if huge it works? Okay. That's so music to my ears that Opus focuses on. I needed that badly in Claude Code. Oh, for debugging, for sure. Yes. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this does with Swift code, by the way, because I've been playing around with Swift a lot. Interesting. Means you can benefit from Sonnet 4 extended thinking for $20 a month on Perplexity PRD. Oh, yes. Yeah, because Perplexity will look on the internet for you. It's already live on the web. Yeah, we're testing it right now. I don't see the model yet. Okay, yeah. Leaks happening all over the place, even for Ray. Altman took so long with the teases installing. Anthropic stole the thunder. Hilarious. I don't know. We'll see, right? I mean, it'll be really interesting because they can wait a whole week. I mean, they can wait till the end of the month. I don't know if you realize this, but Apple had a similar thing. Apple got talked about for not releasing an ad in the Super Bowl a while back. And so by them not spending like 20 million, 50 million, I don't know how many millions people spend on these Super Bowl ads, they actually got more publicity and more people talking about them. So let's just think about this for a second. Let's unwrap this. If you're Sam Altman, you can actually make more of a splash by not releasing your model all month. Like all month, everyone's going to be talking about you not releasing. And so the anticipation will start to build up higher, and they're probably monitoring all that, right? All of us talking about it. Where's the model? Where's this? Like, look at Gemini, like OpenAI is cooked, da, 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 da. And then they just drop it. And then like people forget about it. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but people forget about everything like 5 minutes later. When I turn off the stream, people will forget about it. That's the level of craziness that I think they could be working with here. And it actually works to their advantage because these other model makers are ready. And if they wait too long, like Groq will release, right? The Groq code model will release. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's still in the pipeline that's ready. So let's just talk about it. Google Gemini 2.5 Pro can get like a code update. We can have Groq 4 from XAI. They're still going to release their coding model. They drop that with Heavy, with all those things that are running. Bro, that's just going to blow. I think that model is going to blow away the coding models for everyone, bro. That's the level of craziness that I think is going to happen. That is still in the books that no one's going to talk about until it actually happens, right? And then you have GPT-5 and then whatever other coding stuff that will get integrated within that. So let's also talk about like some of the rumors real quick. So some of the rumors that are happening right now, like this guy kind of breaks it down, and this is kind of why I wanted to talk about it. So he says like, this is the GPT-5 thing. And in here he says like, they say goodbye to choosing models. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. It's going to be fully multimodal. So a single prompt can handle text, images, video, and audio similar to the 4.0, right? So they're going to probably do that type of architecture. The next rumor here is that the scale is going to be massive upgrade. So a context window of over 1 million tokens. If that rumor is true, absolutely ridiculous, right? So Google Gemini 2.5 Pro is there, but we saw how it was with like debuggability and other things. Like for me, I feel like it hallucinates a little too much. It's like super overconfident. It gets one type of thing. It wants to please you and it kind of dips out and it leaves you lots of comments. It'd be like, bro, I dropped a lot of comments. You see how smart I am? So if we get 1 million token context window from OpenAI, I can't tell you how massive that's going to be and how amazing it will be for your multi-turn conversations for you to release features. And to get those levels of details that I was explaining, just to like generate a PRD like that and then have it keep going. So like that's going to be massive. So it feels like feeding my entire books. Yes, this isn't a new model release. It's a next foundational layer of personal and business AI. The race is heating up. Okay. So yeah, basically business and AI. So this is the markets that they're probably going for, right? For the folks who are doing business, people are dropping the thumbs up. I have to do the little dance. For folks who are doing stuff like in everyday life, right? Like even coding and all these different tasks. So if you're basically cooking with OpenAI, just think about this, like what it's already done for the consumer. And for me, like my parents and people like that, like just pop open the apps, start talking to it. Like, what's the recipe for this? What's the salmon? How hot does my salmon have to be when it's ready? It comes back over voice, right? Super fast. So now they're moving into like the business realm on top of that. So if they make it as easy and interactive as people to think everyday words, like the way you think about Google, you say, just Google it. And people now just say, open ChatGPT and just let ChatGPT figure it out. Like, I don't know what it is. Oh, what's the tallest, whatever. Like they just go there for knowledge. And now they're going to be entering the business realm with that. When you have like this larger complexity chain, that is going to be absolutely crazy. Insanely crazy. And I think they have this great user interface to take them there for that type of thing. And it wouldn't surprise me, right? It wouldn't really surprise me to see if that's actually where the puck is going. So yeah, in comparison, this is like, I mean, this is not a coding task right now. And I'm pretty sure my coding task will be able to figure it out. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I want to do some more coding because here's what I got. I want to show you something real quick that I've been working on. That is pretty fun. And it involves this. And I'm kind of wondering if I should just one shot it. So I have this image editor, and basically what you can do is just give it like an image, and it's going to use the OpenAI image API. And what it's going to go ahead and do is just like, it'll use the face preservation mode to do different types of things. But I have all these different kind of cute like UI type of things. And since this is just a prototype in V0, like you could even combine images and stuff like that. So you can select different images, you can add more images and do this type of cool things. It's a really fun UI. And when you're like done, you can, come back and like, give it the different parameters and stuff. And it should generate images for you. And I just wanted to make like a simple interface. So all I do have now is just the front end. And I'm really curious if I use Opus 4.1 in Claude Code, how far can I get with this just becoming like a full-fledged app from here, like after getting it out of V0. So this is something that I definitely want to take a look at with a new model, because I've been cooking with this for a little while and I want to just use the new OpenAI images API because it's really good at replacing your face. It'll preserve your face, but have all the other details and stuff around it changed. So this is something that I'm kind of cooking with, and I kind of want to take a look at it in a little bit. I'll probably do another live stream because I really do have to use the restroom pretty soon, but I want to make sure I get to everyone. I want to see how I can figure this out because I need to figure out how to take a break too. So let's see. Leaks are happening all over the place. Sam, we're talking about these other things. Warp AI isn't quite there yet. Literally said this is going to happen. Only took like 5 minutes. Yeah. What's the name of the token basis service for debugging? Not really sure kind of what that is meaning, but yeah, let me catch up a little bit. GPT-5 would have been better for sure. Cheaper too would have been nice. Yes. For me, I use GPT-5 to plan out and feed the input into Claude Code. And then so GPT-5, Opus, and then Sonnet. So Sonnet is your worker bee to write the code while you have like this big orchestrator at GPT-5 to kind of generate the plan and do the type of thing there. So it'd be interesting. Avi says, for me, OpenAI is my research and my mega hard problem solving platform. I don't need anything else for code, but Claude Code and OpenAI stuff for when it's stuck or research. Yeah, I like OpenAI for research a lot. The other thing that OpenAI has on me right now that no one's really talking about is memories. Memories are my hardcore thing forever. Like, like I can't tell you how much time I save by saying, can you just find me flights? And it's like already looking up, you know, I say, can you find me the next flight for Hawaii for this date? And it's like, okay, I know you like to fly United. I know you like to like upgrade using your points and all that stuff. Like I didn't have to ask me that. It saves so much time. And it's like that alone, that friction removed is, I think, where AI should be going, right? That's like what it should be doing. So yeah, that's what's up, man. Playboy and Playgirl subscription tier. I love it. Yeah. I mean, would you all sign up? I need to add that probably right now for my thing. Yeah. So for what we were talking about, it's like, when we're selecting models, I have so many models to select. It feels like I'm Hugh Hefner. And it's like, we got to have like a Playboy, Playgirl tier because, I mean, we already have Let Me Cook, which basically says that like, we're just going to let you in your zone. Sometimes like the whole Let Me Cook movement is just about being misunderstood, right? People don't understand you have so much intelligence until like something can get the intelligence out of you, right? So you have to like cook for a long time. And by the time people get to try your chef's preparation, they're just like, damn, this is so good. I didn't know you had it in you. It's like, bro, I've been had it in me. Like, and this is the AI movement today for me, right? I had so many issues growing up, like reading and all these different challenges and stuff that I had to drop out of school. Like it just wasn't for me, right? All these people who can read books and regurgitate that back to you, like that's really great. But for me, I had to like do things in the world and produce value and prove myself. And like, that's the whole Let Me Cook movement. This is kind of what I'm about. Ray Fernando, I used to be an engineer at Apple. I dropped out of school, like no degree. I worked my ass off. I got to work on some really insanely crazy stuff, you know, saved the company hundreds of millions of dollars with so many different projects. And so, yeah, that later on became the go-to person for a lot of different crazy complex integrated software problems, all up and down the stack. From really low level stuff to really high level things in the user interfaces, to behind the scenes on some of your favorite products and stuff. So it's been a fun time. And what I'm doing now is basically using AI to generate freedom, right? So instead of going back to work for a corporation, why not just share what I'm learning publicly and enjoy this space with all of you together and join in on the community? This is kind of what I'm trying to build right now. It's like a little community. And right now, you know, I already reached my first 100 members. And so those people get access to the Discord already. If you've already signed up to become a member, you will get access to the Discord. There is a post there. You just send an email. I'm going to be doubling the price very soon. I haven't got around to that, but I will be doing that sometime in the next week or so. And I'm actually very serious about doing that because the community has just been super high signal, really low noise because of it's a small little barrier to get in, and it just prevents people who are just tire kickers type of thing. So I definitely appreciate everyone who's been able to join in and support the movement and so forth. Bacon Overflow is my favorite name right now, by the way. Anthropic just killed my excitement about GPT-5 in one tweet, bro. Twitter AI is lit right now. Twitter is where it's at right now. Yeah, X. Yeah. Memories are amazing. It still addresses me correctly and uses language patterns I prefer? Yes. Yeah, ChatGPT memories are definitely appreciated. Jay Lee, what's happening, man? Shouts out to the X family, everyone who's over there. Different approach. What if you can build an AI that never forgets, AI that doesn't have amnesia, refreshes, and the AI would have more intelligence on top of it and continues to carry it forward? So I think there are a couple different things. I think there's like your memory in your world, and then there's like the AI. And the AI to me feels alien, bro. Like, I don't know what you think about this, but I feel like I'm interacting with an alien being. So that's just it. I know that it will never be a human because of biologically, emotionally, and so forth. But I know it's able to grab intelligence and generate some general model intelligence. So when I interact with AI, to me, it feels like interacting with an alien. And like, that's what aliens like do. Like they're not familiar with our space, but they can reason themselves and they're building reasoning tools and they can kind of try to figure out what's happening in the world. It sounds really weird, but this is just my personal feeling, right? And I feel like the AI will never be human. And that's actually the whole point. The whole point is it just to be alien, and then it can be a tool that a human can use to do different things. So let's just kind of go back a little bit in history for a second, right? So back then when people were painting, before the first photographs ever happened, people used to paint like whatever they saw. You used to be hired to go basically take a photograph, in essence, just paint a famous person. And to be painted, it was gatekept. Only the most wealthiest people can hire a painter for them to kind of pose like this with their child or whatever, and they're like their mistresses in the background, right? And so by the time cameras were invented, all the painters were like, yo, we are cooked. Like what are we going to do now? Because we're out of jobs. So some painters said, like they're pushed back against it. Other people were like, okay, let's embrace the movement. Let's just see how I can do this artistically. And then other painters just said, you know what? We have dedicated ourselves to this entire craft and we have this legacy of doing these things. Why don't we do something that cameras can't do? Let's try to paint our emotions. So then they started painting all these crazy things that you start to see all these crazy patterns and different colors and different feelings. And some of the most famous artwork that you've ever seen today, you've seen it because it has all these like little starry-eyed patterns and stuff that you just don't even know. They're very abstract, but they're painting feelings. So when you see it, you're just like, wow, some of the most famous paintings in the world aren't really real, right? Like they're actually kind of these abstractions. And those are the feelings that these artists who are craftsmen did to express themselves. And I feel like as human beings ourselves, it's kind of the same thing that's happening right now with AI. This alien piece of technology has literally landed upon us. And as humans, we can either react to it or do something interesting. But since we've built up all these skills as humans and we have an understanding of this world, I think for me, the movement for me and the way that I'm going with this, the way I'm taking with it, with my experience as an engineer, is to say, I think I'm going to build something that can bring humans to feel that no other like AI can do. So I need to figure out what that is. And I got pieces of that when I worked at this fruit company, right? These devices that people use every day, that your grandma uses every day, like people had this feeling, and Steve Jobs even talked about this in some of his speeches about love. Like when you open the phone, you have this like love feeling for it, right? And that's because of the obsession over details, like these details that people don't ever think about, that only the engineers who worked on it know about. Like I worked on some stuff for like many days and many months because I sincerely believed that this was like the best experience possible and nothing was going to stop me. And like that involved weekends and other things that people never thought about, but I wanted to make sure that experience was right. And from then on forward, no one talks about it, right? It's embedded, it's part of the software and it stays with it forever, right? It just keeps compounding. And like, that's the level of like integrity and feeling that as you gain experience, you can keep bringing to your products. So it keeps compounding over time. And if you keep that spirit, I feel like that's going to make you and your products like have a feeling that no other products or other people, even an AI system, can ever reproduce. And I think that's kind of where the puck is going. And that's where I want to go with my products. So I'm using AI to help me get there because it can help me get there faster, right? It can help me bring in these other skill sets I don't have. And I can work with people to bring those feelings in. So that's the movement that I'm about right now. That's my little dialogue. I just wanted to drop that on you. before we get this like GPT-5 level thing, because I think it's going to be able to help us with so many different things. And I'm very much an optimist in this specific way. And I don't think this type of viewpoint is very mainstream, but I want to share that with you. And if you're vibing with me, definitely drop it in the chat because I want to see what you guys are vibing with too. It's a little confusing right now in the world because all these different people have all these different like viewpoints and positioning and different backgrounds that they're bringing into this type of technology. And I'm really excited as an engineer. I'm super excited, like I really am very hopeful for this. So yeah, optimism for the win for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if you just saw LDJ, what's going on, man? But I want to let you know that Hugging Face just accidentally released the OpenAI open model announcement. What? Hey, drop it in the chat and I'll put it up on the, like if you link me a tweet or something like that, drop it and I'll definitely do that. Definitely, we're vibing. Claude 4.1 is out, but still very, very expensive. GPT open source 120 billion would be fit into one H100 run pod that gets 8 hours a day, 30 days per month at $500 something. Might be a powerhouse. I'm really curious. Yeah. Is this actually live or recorded? This is actually live. Yo, this is kind of what's funny. I think it's missing the fun. Opus 4.1 is out. Claude, yeah. No, this is actually live. It's kind of funny. Like I have this camera here. We're totally live. We're chilling. Yeah. This is so funny. Whoa, seriously? Yeah. We're definitely live for sure. Have you seen the new 3 models that dropped from Windsurf Next called Charmander? So apparently these are supposed to be the GPT models, but I don't really know. Yeah. Cubism was born. Hey, good morning, tech friend. How's it going, man? Hey, bro, been a fan of what you do lately for sure. Everyone's kind of vibing right now. We're on this vibe shift. The link is above. Okay. Can someone just relink it in the chat as far as like the Hugging Face leak? Because I can't seem to see it. I'm a little bit behind on the chat. I just want to make sure I get to that and want to see if I can throw that up on the screen because that'd be super helpful. I just linked it. Oh, you know what? It's not showing up in my... Oh, I wonder if like YouTube removes... Okay, here it is again. Thank you. Visit link. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, LDJ. That's super helpful. So let's take a look right now. So this says the new open source GPT model. What? This is so crazy. Let's take a look. Y'all not playing out here. Dang. Okay. So it's hugely anticipated open weights released by OpenAI designed for powerful reasoning, agentic task, and versatile developer use cases. So it compromises of 2 big models, 117 billion and a smaller 21 billion parameters. Both are mixtures of experts, okay, and use a 4-bit quantization scheme, okay, enabling fast inference thanks to fewer active parameters, while keeping resource usage low. So the model fits into a single H100 GPU, and then the small one runs 16 gigabytes of memory and is perfect for consumer hardware on-device applications. Yo, they crush it. 21 billion and 117 billion parameters with 3.6 billion and 5.1 active parameters respectively. I'm really curious to see how this is going to weigh against Gemini's Flash models and their smaller models, because they're supposed to have some smaller on-device models. This is really interesting because it's all open source, right? So you can do all this hotness. So the token choice is a mixture of architects, mixture of experts. I don't know what this exactly is. SWI GUI activations. When calculating MOE weights, a softmax is taken over selected experts. So Beta, thank you so much for becoming a member. I see that coming through on YouTube and it may be a little bit delayed. So let me just also catch up because LDJ is an expert here. Maybe my end is delayed too. Okay. Yo, tech friend, are you from Code? Yes. People are dropping the links. Also, the VP of research at OpenAI just released this teaser video about the 20 billion model with agentic capabilities. Yo, let's take a look at that. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that right now. LDJ coming in with the heat. Let's go. Visit link. All right, fam. Let me see if I can get the audio set up too. Oh, I think this is the one. Oh, so this is that model that's currently running. I see. Okay. We were playing this earlier and I wasn't sure if it was just a CLA they dropped because I wasn't sure what model they were actually dropping on us. So yeah, the model is live on Hugging Face as Open GPT OSS 20B. Screw GPT-5. I want GPT-7, bro. Stop. 120B parameters seems low, no? I think so. But like, I think the thing is about like this type of stuff. If I can do these types of tasks on a computer and do other things. So I don't know if you realize this. One part of like making a really good app, like I was telling you about emotions and feeling, is to try to understand what the user is doing. So if you have this level of intelligence that can start asking questions, in its own little sandboxed environment in an app level thing, it can just run in the evening. And it starts to say, okay, this is the data of what's happened throughout the day. Let me just scrub through it. I have audio data, I have mail data, I have messages data, I have these different things. And they could start asking questions like, what is Ray's biggest fear? What is like the key lessons that he should have learned today? What are the things that he was interacting with? What are the feelings that other people were saying? What type of questions did Ray ask today? If you just have some of these prompts that you ask yourself every morning, every day, whatever you do, even for your own meditation, you can try to see what you're thinking about. And so if you have a model that's on device, it's not talking to the internet, but it's just literally running on device, by the time it's ready to do a request up to OpenAI to do the next type of thing, it could send some of that data up to OpenAI for processing for a more intelligent model. And that intelligent model can start to kind of better understand the memories and things because it doesn't need to do a lot on device. It just needs to have a lot of this context or a lot of your data reorganized so that a larger model can kind of do a little bit more planning and orchestrating. And so by the time you're asking questions for any follow-up or other types of things, let's just say you're doing creative writing or something like that, having this extra data about what's been happening can actually be very helpful for enriching your app, maybe helping loved ones or your relationship with other loved ones as well. So I think models like this are super awesome and they're super intelligent. There's an app by a girl, I think her name is Molly, and she has an app where she's running Llama 8B, I think, on the device. And it just helps you with your replies to text messages. So it's just like a really small model that runs on device. And then it can look at your messages and sound like you and generate replies. Super simple. Runs all on device. No internet needed, right? That's the power that you have, especially with iOS. And it's just amazing. Like there's a lot of workhorse power in that type of thing. And I think this is kind of where it's really going, if you know what I mean. So yeah, big shouts out to Beta. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. That's really, really cool. I really appreciate the support here. So it's really awesome that you're able to kind of join in. There is a link in the post, by the way, to get you access to the Discord. So go ahead and check that out. There's basically on my channel, there's a members only post and that should be able to get you right in. You can tell this is open source because it says Wi-Fi off on the video. So it's been running locally. I see. It also says on the screen that he only has 36 gigabytes of memory. So you must be running the 20 billion model there. Aha. Thank you, LDGA. That's super duper awesome here. So can you try the GPT OSS? Hey, what's going on, Matt Berman? Thank you so much for joining the stream. He actually has a post here about it. So let's go ahead and check that out too. Visit link. I think that could probably help us figure this out. Introducing GPT open source software. OpenAI just dropped a state-of-the-art open source model. So anyone can download and modify and run on consumer-grade hardware. Here's everything you need to know. Oh, I love these threads. This is super awesome. So it says it comes in two sizes, just as what we're kind of taking a look at. They're built for real-world use case at low cost with strong tool use. Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, there's these different parameters here, 5.1 billion, 3.6 billion with these different expert chains. And so the performance here looks like it's on par with O4 Mini. Core reasoning runs on a single 80G GPU. Oh, okay. And the 20B lands around the O3 Mini. Remember those tasks that I was telling you to make your app super rich? You need to start playing around with these models. I'm going to definitely start cooking with these models because the app enrichment layer is finally here. And we can do this with an open source model from OpenAI. And you better believe that all the training tools and everything you need is just going to start to tie in together back and forth between these systems. Oh, wow. So it's designed for agents. So excellent instruction following, function calling, web search, Python tool, use adjustable reasoning effort, and structured output. A full raw chain of thought is available. Whoa. So the GPT open source achieves near parity with OpenAI's O4 Mini core reasoning benchmarks. That is wild. And we can have this on device for free. Architecture. These are mixture extra transformers with 117 billion and 21 billion total params, but 5.1 billion and 3.6 active per token. So this is kind of how they're basically routing it. There's like, you have access to this intelligence, but then we're going to route it through these different layers. And so these alternating dense plus locally banded sparse attention, grouped multi-attention query, rope, 128K context. Okay, that was my next question, is like, what's the context here? And so with 128K tokens, that's enough to do a lot of reasoning and a lot of, chain of thought, just, single one-off processes. But then you want to write this data to like a database so that later on you start to, the whole goal here is to like use one of these models to generate metadata. And so once you generate the metadata for the app, a big shout out to Matt Berman, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to check out Matt Berman, like almost 500,000 followers on YouTube. He's going to hit that million YouTube subscriber probably super soon. Talks a lot about really great AI news, drops amazing threads like this, has access to a lot of insider information and different knowledge and stuff. And this guy is like really cooking with everything here. So definitely check him out. Also on X as well. I'm excited as you. Yeah. 128K native, which means it's extendable. Yes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'd love to find out more about this context window and how it could be extendable. And extendable in terms of, I think because the model is open source and open weight, they can fine tune it and do a bunch of other stuff. So these people who are out there who are experts in this world can say, I'm going to make a newer model since I have the weights and do some additional training to see if I can make the context window double the size or maybe 1 million or something like that. And so a lot of what's great about open source is now you're going to have like all these people who are just going to just take this thing and start running with it because, that's what you can do. It's open source. And there's going to be a lot of attention around it because it's already OpenAI. And there's already some really good people who are out there who, it's like Technium is a pretty popular person on X. If you don't follow, Technium does a lot of like open source software training. There's like the NOS folks who are a part of that whole group. And there's some folks in here like LDJ as well. Yes, I have to use the bathroom so bad. It's okay. Off-grid cooking for sure. Yeah. By the way, they used Yarn developed by Noose for the 128K context. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Open source software is low key back. I mean, finally. I mean, it's been here the whole time, but I think I'm happy that it's entering mainstream conversation right now. And I'm hoping that this is going to allow that space to do that, right? So the thinking models, SFT plus high compute RL to teach train of thought to tool use. So 3 reasoning levels you can set in the system message. So low, medium, and high. Dude, these open source model comes with, this is nice. I like this. The evals are 120B beats O3 mini. Okay. And then the O4 mini on Codeforce's MLU, Health Bench. Whoa, this is definitely a workhorse here. Let's see. So let me just kind of pop to the side here. So we have GPT open source 120B with tools, without tools in the ELO rating. And then we have this compared with O3 with tools, O4 mini and O3 mini without tools. That is nice. That's crazy. That they basically, OpenAI said, we're going to take this stuff here and we're going to make them available open source. And like, I don't know if you realize this, but this is literally the worst it's going to get because it can only get better from here once the open source community takes it and starts building on top of it. Just like what Matt was saying, if they can add more context window, they can add even better tooling output, right? They can do, I mean, it's anything they want to do now. Oh my God, this is so wild, bro. This is so wild. I'm so hyped. This is crazy. So yeah, these are a mixture of efforts transformers with, wow. Yeah. So these are the benchmarks. Safety, okay. They adversely fine-trained the 120B for bio and cyber and still did not reach the high capacity under preparedness. Okay, that's interesting. Availability. Weights are available on Hugging Face, quantize at mixture MXFP4. 128B fits in the 80 gigabytes, 220B fits in the 16 gigabytes. Wow. Tokenizer. So I have a 128 gigabyte machine, so it should be able to fit in my machine. Wow. Okay, reference in PyTorch, Apple Metal, plus tool examples. Oh, whoa, this thing is going to just purr. I might actually have to, after the stream is done, I'm going to download the weights. I'm going to see if I can actually quantize it and spit it up over and push it into Apple's MLX thing so they could be available for everyone else to start playing with to use on an Apple MLX machine because I have enough RAM to get this thing downloaded and quantized so that everyone else can start like downloading it on from Hugging, not only on Hugging Face but in other places as well. Open weight reasoning models push capability and safety, lowers barriers for developers. Actually, I wonder if it's already available on the MLX community. Let's see. That way I don't have to do it. Let's see. GPT. No, I don't think. Let's see. What's the model name again? Let's see here. 120B. Open source. GPT OSS. Oh yeah, so I'll probably go and update it. GPT OSS. Okay. Yeah. I'll just download the weights and I'll probably just do my software magic and put it up on the MLX community. That way other folks can play around with it on your Apple MLX device and have it running locally. That'd be so cool. That's actually what I'm going to be doing because I want this thing. I want to make apps in Swift using this on device, and that'd just be so fire. Like, and so here's the other thing. There's an opportunity of a lifetime right now if you can play around with models that can be fit onto a device like this and ship software, right? Like whether you can ship your app and maybe download the model as part of one of the onboarding processes. And once the model's on the device, it can run. And you're going to have all these different constraints, right? Whenever you're developing on device, there's all this stuff. But once the intelligence is on the device, there's a lot of stuff that you can do on device. Like I said, like looking through metadata, looking through, like we haven't even talked about like how good it is at running tool calling to do image generation or image processing, right? Can it process image? Can it process PDFs? You know, a lot of different experiments will have to be run to see where the like actual intelligence is here. And then because it's open source, there could be different fine tunes that I can start pulling in for specific tasks or maybe specific tool use type of thing. So the possibilities are infinite here. The other part that's really interesting here is going to be like the energy usage. So whenever you're running a really large model on device, it could eat up a lot of energy and the system processes may actually kill the process of your app as soon as it goes into the background. So with a lighter weight model, this is kind of why you want to offload some of those tasks. There's also different things that have like power capabilities. When your phone is plugged in and running overnight, it has access to more juice of the device. And so those are the perfect times if you have any background processes in your app that's running, like a Swift app, you can start to kick off these other processes saying, hey, whenever you have a lot of power availability, just go ahead and start running these other processing tasks. So it's really interesting when you architect apps for on device because you almost have to treat it like a server client architecture as if we were thinking from the server side thing. I come from this type of world from on client, so I'm kind of learning the server side things, but it's really interesting how there's just different concerns that run at different times, right? Whenever you have your app that's loaded, you know, it's just like that's the most like visible time and everything has to have high priority, you know, with your user interface, and you can't block those elements. But as soon as your devices go to sleep, you know, the system will start to calm things down so your battery doesn't drain. But then when it's plugged into power overnight, you know, charging, you can do a whole bunch of other stuff, you know, within different like thermal limits and things. So you have to think about app architectures in these types of ways and think about your tasks in these different groupings because you'll want to do certain things only at certain times. So yeah, just a FYI for building software. Available on Groq already? No way, bro. Did the news just not stop? I have to go to the bathroom too, so bad. I almost have 1,000 people on the stream. This is insane right now. Holy smokes. Okay, 210 people on the stream on YouTube. Oh, wow. This is wild. Okay. I have to go so bad. This is so bad. Okay, OpenAI, 1.20 billion. Released now on OpenRouter. No way, available on Groq. Oh, man. This is wild. Okay, Apple Metal. Yes. Ian Souza, open source frontier model that anyone can download, modify, and run on consumer grade hardware. Yes, they have a web demo, by the way. Oh, man. If I didn't have to go to the bathroom, I swear I'd be gone. Oh, man, this is so bad for me right now. 5 to 35. Okay, so like this is the weirdest live stream I've ever had. I feel like it's a Mr. Beast live stream challenge. Like, how long can Ray stay here before he pees in his pants? This is so bad. Go, we'll be here. No, fam. I can't. The drop off. I can't deal with it right now. The web demo already crashed, by the way. Okay. Can someone link the web demo in the chat? Bacon Overflow, can you link me? I'm also going to see if I can pull up the Discord because right now I have the Discord turned off because I didn't want all these messages everywhere. And I just want to make sure There's like a live stream hangout in the Discord. So I want to see if we can pop it in there, and I can pop some of the links and stuff. Let's see, Bacon. And then I'm going to also tag, I think GitMax or someone who else is in there, because I want to see if they can hook me up with the link. Oh man, yeah. Time to get adult diapers for the stream. That's what I'm talking about right now. Thanks to my members' support. Bro, I'm gonna get a sponsor by Charmin and be like, and this episode is now presented to you guys by Charmin. If you guys aren't aware, despite you, if you know, I can't even say it without laughing, bro. Like, how am I supposed to get paid? I'm 59, just hitting. Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely go. Do it like all the streamers do, and we just go and wait. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'll do? I need a Gatorade bottle for sure. What I'm gonna do is just gonna see if I can pull up a video or something that's on here where we can kind of read and stay entertained, because I feel like we need to do that right now. So I think we need to figure out, is there a video on X or something right now where this thing is actually live and we're talking about the model? Here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I am going to pull up another video that maybe talks a little bit about what we're talking about, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to just say GPT open source, Matt Berman. Okay. So I'm going to pull up one of Matt's videos because I think he may even have this here. But actually, this is a really good one. So this is going to be a little bit of Horizon Alpha. Yeah, let's talk about he talks about Horizon. Okay, perfect. This is a good video from Matt talking about Horizon Alpha. And I think this is going to be a really good like P-break so that you can get it. So Horizon Alpha is like the rumored GPT-5 model. And so let's just see what he's saying about it. And then we can, it's kind of cool to hear my voice. And let me see if I can get this audio pipe through real quick and then get this displayed on screen so we can just cook together and I can use the restroom. Because this is a really nice show here. All right, and then I'll get my face out of the way. So let's just see what he says.
Brand new mystery model on OpenRouter. And we have a brand new mystery model on OpenRouter, and it is called Horizon Alpha. It's available and it's free to use, and it looks to be likely the new open source OpenAI model. Let me show you a couple tests, and then I'm going to tell you about it. And by the way, if you want to stay up to date on the latest model releases, their benchmarks, and all the cutting edge AI news, you need to subscribe to our newsletter, Forward Future, at forwardfuture.ai. Of course, we had to try the spinning hexagon ball test because that seems to be the default coding test for all new models. Here it is. And yeah, it is quite impressive. We can change the number of balls. Let's reset it. There we go. We can change the ball size. Very cool. We have wall elasticity, ball elasticity, gravity. Let's turn up the gravity so you can see. I can turn it all the way down and they start floating away. Everything looks really good. Let's turn it all the way up. And this looks very accurate to me. Turn down the friction. Turn up the friction. Air resistance. Spin. We can change the speed. Let's turn it up. We can make it go the other way. So I think if we turn up the friction, we'll see more movement. And then let's also turn down the gravity. Let's turn up the gravity. There we go. So yeah, I think this looks fantastic. And testing its spatial awareness, it was incredibly impressive. So describe the final orientation of a cube that's rotated 90 degrees about X, 90 degrees about Y, and then 180 degrees about Z. Give me an SVG illustrating the three movements so I can visualize the step-by-step solution. And then it tells me the solution, but just reading it is not easy enough. I wanted it to visualize it. So here's the SVG it came up with, although it's kind of hard to read. So I then asked it to create me an HTML visualization instead. And here is what that looks like. So we have the cube and we have each of the steps as buttons. So here, 90 degrees about X. That is correct. 90 degrees about Y. That is correct. And then 180 degrees about Z. And there it is. Look at that. Perfectly illustrated and completely accurate. Very well done. Now let me tell you about this model. So a few things we know about it. Wow. One, it was created just yesterday, basically last night. It has a 256K token context window, and it does seem likely that it is OpenAI's open source model. There are a couple reasons why. One, it isn't a thinking model. When you give it a prompt, it spits out the first thing it thinks of. There is no thinking mode yet. Of course, when the community gets their hands on it, they will add thinking to it, hopefully. Another thing is it is multimodal. It can take images, and it is actually really good at understanding images. I'm going to show you a couple tests of that in a moment. And then finally, it is lightning fast, probably outputting tokens at about 150 tokens per second. It's super fast, super impressive, especially when giving it images. So check this out. I took a picture of my son's book, and on this page, you're supposed to basically find all the things that are not right. And so I gave this image to Horizons Alpha, and let me show you what it said. Now, all I said was read the text on the page, do what it says. I didn't even give it any instructions as to what the page says to do. And look at this. The page headline says, why not? Look carefully at the picture. It's full of weird and wonderful things. How many things are wrong in this picture? A giant human head picking out from the trees, a hot dog floating on the lake, a slice of bread in the water. And it did it perfectly. And it named every single one of them. Very impressive. And again, this entire thing from uploading the image to click.
Can you believe that level of intelligence that is happening with Horizon 5? That's GPT-5 rumors. And check this out. That's only 256K token context window they've been playing around with, right? I mean, if the rumor says from that one dude says 1 million, are you just going to lose your mind? This is so crazy. Yo, Mr. Frank, thank you so much for the super chat in that building right now. It says on device, open source LLMs will be great once they fit on normal memory size. For coding, I ran past all my Claude Code credits in a couple hours. Bro. My boy's cooking right now, bro. He's cooking right now. I hopefully you have that $200 a month plan. Please tell me you do, because if you already blown past it, have you entered the 3 comma club? For those who don't know, we have a thing called the 3 comma club. Are you part of the 3 comma club? And so let me hit you real quick on the details for the 3 comma club. If you have generated 1 billion tokens consumed, right? Consumed, either you make it and come back the whole whatever command, you run this command, bunx space cc usage. What is your Claude Code usage for the month? If for the month you hit 1 billion tokens, you get the 3 comma club tag in my Discord. This is so crazy. So the 3 comma club is an ode to the Silicon Valley show. If you haven't watched that show, go watch it. But basically the goal is to make $1 billion, and people who are in the $1 billion club are called the 3 comma club. There's a whole thing around this. And so we're kind of doing our lightweight version of that, of like, if you're a baller and you can just ball out and just generate 1 billion tokens. And this is like, there are people in my community that have done this without any automation, any bots or anything like that. And they're just doing it themselves because they're just locked in. And I feel like these people have been misunderstood by Anthropic and these other companies because they work like 15 hours a day. You know, they take no breaks. They're just all in all the time. And so, you know, they're running sub agents, they're utilizing the model, they're constantly doing their stuff. And these are like your next level cracked engineers. They're not messing around. They're just like all in on the agentic stuff. And I think this is kind of where the energy is going. And so I'm just curious to see like how Mr. Frank's doing with this like super chat thing. So he's saying, I blew past the full $200 usage in a couple of hours, bro. A couple of hours. My boy's locked in right now. Sheesh, let's go. Let's go. I have Claude Code running on my laptop while I work too. I think OpenAI is going after the Chinese open source models. Yes and no. I feel like everyone's going to this level of intelligence. And I feel like we're going to be... Okay, so there's this tweet from Sam Altman that I want to show you guys because I felt like this kind of set the tone. And I think this is the era that we are entering. So your boy... Samuel, Sama, let's see. He says this. Let's see real quick. Oh my God, he's already retweeting stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Where was this? He says, we are entering the fast fashion era of SaaS very soon. Okay, so like there's a lot to unpack here, and this is kind of where I'm saying. I wouldn't say it this way. He says fast fashion era. That just doesn't, that's a mouthful. I can't flow with fast fashion. I'm just saying that we are entering in our like Craftsman era. I think we're going to be in the Craftsman era of software, right? If you're a really good craftsman at like woodworking and you do some really great stuff that no other woodworker can do, like everyone can play with wood now because they can shape the tools, they can go buy it, they can do the things, but no one's making really amazing woodworking pieces, art, whatever it is, cabinetry, like details of work that you can do, all that only you can do. That's the era we're entering now with AI. And this is the era we're entering now with the models, right? We're going to hear a lot of news of all these different models from China and all these different places. We're a little overwhelmed. I'm a little overwhelmed. I could barely keep up. You know, this is low key my full-time job now, right? Like keeping up with these types of technologies and understand how I can make apps with them. And the only thing that's very clear amongst all of this is this Craftsman era of building software, where you have to get in those details. You have to play with these models. You have to understand who, like, okay, OpenAI is going to bring this capability. Let's just say GPT-5 has this capability of grabbing this image like Matt Berman was showing us and going through all that level of detail and pulling out all that information. Great. Hand that back to a smaller, less intelligent model and let it cook, right? Let it do these little specific metadata tagging. Imagine like if you have every photo processed in some type of way where you're doing that level of intelligence to, you know, make something unique for your app, like whether it's a medication app, so like for medicine, right? You're going to track anomalies, whether you're like looking through documents for like forensics, right? Like mentioned, like forensics experts are probably looking for this type of stuff where they don't have time to dig through thousands and thousands of images to pull out relevant data, right? This is the perfect use case for AI. You just run 1,000 images on a server, have it generate all this data, now have another model just start doing some processing and looking for patterns and things. Boom, you have an app. Like you have something that can pull out outliers and show you what's happening, right? I mean, stock markets, right? You can now have something that can look at a stock market chart and then run some analysis, giving that general intelligence of a model, and then try to find some outlying patterns, right? Imagine if you do this on the S&P 500 and then you start tracking like currencies across the board, right? Like, I'm not saying that this is not financial advice. This is the way that I think about my investments and the way that I'm thinking about this. So like, I want to look at the bond market. I want to look at what's happening in currencies. I want to look at what's happening over here. I want to put together all these correlations and then see if it can cook. This is something that I do very visually. It's not like I try to code it by hand, but I'm way faster visually. And so there's certain tasks that you can do visually that you can do faster than you could like processing by reading line by line. And so that's the level of intelligence you have to start thinking with. It's like all these models are going to drop from all these different places. Like, where can you make an app that can be really helpful? Go play, go experiment, download the weights, make a model, make your own tokenizer, figure out how that works, right? Understand how this comes together. I still don't know, right? I'm not an ML expert. I want to make apps. I want to be up here, right? You can be up here too. It's not that hard. And we have tools now that can help us do that. So I'm all about that. Did I miss something new, man? Yo, bro, you missed the stream. Like, rewind back. After the stream, there's going to be timestamps all across the board. So you can go back later on after the stream is done. It's going to turn into like a video on demand. YouTube is going to push it out. And so you'll see the timestamps below. I have a processing thing that will do that. And then you can kind of skip around to the different chapters and things. But yeah, we covered a lot of things from like the new Opus 4.1 model dropping. We got to take a look at the Horizon Alpha thing. We got to take a look at Matt Berman's video, kind of doing the testing there and seeing like the intelligence of the model, of the rumored GPT-5 stuff. We talked about the GPT-5 rumors and like the rumored 1 million token context window, along with like the not being able to select a lot of models from the dropdown, just selecting one model and letting it do its thing. There's just so much stuff going on. So yeah, very bad timing, but 11 Labs just released something cool in the last hour. 11 music generation licensed and usable commercially. Oh, did you see the Claude 4.1? Yes. Yeah, we were playing around with that a little bit earlier. I might start cooking some code right now and seeing if it can actually take this like app idea that I had and kind of turning it into something that's really real. Because I think it'd be really fun. Apparently it's really good at debugging though. So that'll be really, really interesting for the debugging stuff. Someone needs to sync AI human minds. Like, it's too late to even type. I don't know if you use it, but I use WhisperFlow, bro. Like, I hit the little button, it just figures it out and even formats all this stuff correctly. It's so beautiful. Dude, I've been messing with these local LLMs too. It's lit. For sure. Yeah. I'm traveling first class on the hype train and I'm loving it. That's what we're all about. Let's see. Yeah. I'm testing the 120 billion on Groq. Oh, that's what we need to do. That's right. So before this, I had to use the rastream. So let me go ahead and get on Groq right now and see if I can pull up the model, because I hear that this model's on there. So let's just start building. And let me see if I can get this on the playground. Because if it's on Groq, bro, we're going to start cooking. So let's take a look. So yeah, big shout outs to Jose, by the way, who is a member of the stream, by the way. So this is really, really great. Thank you for dropping the sauce on us right now. So I'm on Groq, console.groq.com, and I should be able to see Hugging Face, OpenAI. Ooh, oh, whoa. Hey, yo, let me cook. Let's see. Dude, this gets me every time, bro. I will always be lit whenever like Groq does anything. This is so wild, bro. I love this. And look what it came up with, bro. It's like, absolutely, let's get cooking. Absolutely. Wait, is this low key acting like Claude Sonnet right now? Is the open source GPT 120 billion acting like Claude Sonnet? Absolutely. Bro. Oh my God. So we have cuisine. All right. What type of sauce do we get here? Oh my goodness. 32K. Okay. Okay. We have reasoning too? We got reasoning in the building. Okay. The GPT open source model is now available on Groq as we speak. Fast AF inference. This is not sponsored, but I will be reaching out to Groq to see if they can sponsor this channel, because I use them extremely a lot. And I love them so much because they're so fast. They're always reliable. They're always coming through on the model releases. And they're just such great people. So like, damn. Oh my God. Y'all need to sponsor this stream. Groq, you need to get in this stream right now and sponsor it, because more people need to know about how amazing your stuff is. Let's go. JSON mode. Oh my goodness. Browser in search. Code interpreter. Yeah, let's cook. Oh, wow. This is wild. Okay, let me play around with this. I got some prompts. I'm going to see if I can really cook with this. Let's see. All right. Claude. So I have some cool stuff. Let's just do some prompt testing. I'm really curious to push the levels of like its writing capabilities. And so one of the things I have is like a hook generation. And this project I generated, that'll help me like generate hooks for my streams, but also blog posts and everything. So I'm going to paste this in as my system instructions into Groq, and we're just going to reset this here. All right. So I'm going to show you what I'm cooking with. Over here, should I just turn into studio? No. Okay. Chat. And this is the system instructions. So this is basically the system prompt to generate hooks for all my different platforms. And then as a user, what I will do is just feed it in like one of my previous chats. So I think, what did I do? I have, was it 20-minute backend app? So here's a so I made a YouTube short and I wanted like a good title for it. So this is exactly the prompt that I put in. And this is the reasoning and thinking that basically Claude Opus did. And what it outputs is a whole thinking analysis. So it does this thing from this book that I read. All of this is based off of what I've read. So this is a hook point analysis. It should generate like some hooks and some principles and stuff. So let's go ahead and see if I can put it in here. So once I take these instructions and put it in here, this is the transcript from the YouTube short, because this is actually what I'm building for my app, Ray Transcribes. So in Ray Transcribes, part of it is going to be generating hooks and various things once you have transcripts from videos, so you can build some of this level of intelligence with these types of models and submit. Let's see. Hide code. Oh, let's go. 532 tokens per second. Oh my God, bro. We're cooking. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, let me just, good thing I went pee earlier, because I would pee my pants. Sheesh. Okay. Whoa, okay. What just happened here? We just cooked. This is the open source model, by the way. You mean I could run this for free? I won't have to use Opus anymore? Bro. Okay, so in order for me to view actually anything that's reasonable, one of the things I do is just pop it into Notion. So this is not sponsored. Like, I should get sponsored by all these people I talk about, because like I'm cooking with everyone, literally. And so in Notion, I'll show you exactly. This is actually how I discovered that I can actually control language models, was through Notion, because Notion is a markdown viewer basically. So I paste in the response into here, and this is the response that it gave me, and it already has it all nicely formatted from the markdown format that we saw. So this is the format that came out from the model. And did it get the information? I don't think it got everything from what we were thinking about here. So it's like A/B test recommendations and stuff like that. Did it get that? Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think it got some of the charts and things. Let's see if I can put that in here. Let's see. Should I just paste it? Boop. Yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. So here's everything that the Groq model gave me. And I basically have put it into Notion here. And so this did the thinking analysis and even generated a chart for me. So this is very OpenAI like. If you've ever used the O3 models, it likes to generate these like charts for you. But that's interesting because this is exactly the output from Claude Opus, and you see it didn't output any charts. So we're comparing basically the Opus model to the 120 billion parameter open source model from OpenAI. And like, this is really interesting because I like how it's actually, for me, this is my preferred output format. It's like doing this type of analysis, putting into this little chart format. And then this is like the content mining questions and answers. So to be honest, I'm very surprised how good this open source model is at this type of task. Because look at how it's doing this. I mean, damn, like this is really, really good. Because this is the steps that you have to do to write hooks for your platforms to get these really high retention rates at the very beginnings of videos. Because my retention rates for all my streams are basically 80% plus. And it goes through this workflow. I do a transcript. I describe the problem that I'm having. I describe the topics that I'm going to talk about. I just dump all the research in just full on. This helps me think about it. Who's my user? Who am I talking to? What exactly is my actual purpose for these types of things? So it helps me generate some hooks. Let's just see how it is at creative writing. So Opus is really good at creative writing. So I'm just really curious here. 20 minutes equals full SAS. I don't write like this. And I think this is the problem with these OpenAI models, is that they always do these like hashtags and things because they have their world knowledge is based off of something that's pretty far back from, Twitter days, not X days. But these things are tunable because it's open source model, right? So we can just say no hashtags and stuff in the future. And so like it's so emoji heavy. It's so ridiculous. But some of the words can be really good. So build to complete SaaS, auth plus Stripe, payments in 20 minutes using a single template. It's payment gated, so you'll see a premium dashboard. So like this is very similar to the hook that I wrote. Dang, how do I build the full SaaS? This is really good. Yeah. I mean, it's coming up some cool stuff. It didn't give me like a super full description for how I would do YouTube video, like the way that the Opus model did. So in Opus, like it broke it down a little bit more, and it gave me basically the description opening here. It's like this is a really good, like hook for an opening. And for YouTube Shorts, it gave me like the entire description. It also went a little bit further for Instagram Reels, but all of this can be broken down, right? Opus is a gigantic model, right? Opus is the Opus. That was Opus 4. And we're talking about a much smaller model. This is 120 billion parameters from OpenAI, their open source model hosted on Groq. And, I got some of the data that was going here. They're obviously very different in terms of like the output, right? I would definitely prefer like Opus straight on, but it's showing me that there's a lot in this model from OpenAI's open source model that we can kind of start doing stuff with, especially since it's free, right? Because Opus is going to cost me $15 for the input, $75 per million for the output. I love that I'm able to even try to see if I could shape this type of thing here. So yeah, that's what's up. Big shout out to Ahmet, who became a member of the stream as well. Thank you so much, Ahmet. I just saw you come in through on the YouTube chat. Also, big shout outs to Frank as well for another super chat here. It says, ask Groq how to join Trace Comics Token Club. Bro, I'm gonna do that right now. Actually, you know what would be interesting if I rerun this? So since I have the system prompt, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just going to like minimize it. And I'm going to see if I can have it help me communicate this type of message better. So the system prompt is still here. And I'm just going to use the same open source model and say, I have this concept of the 3 comma club. And I'm trying to see how I can pitch this idea to my live stream members about how they can join it and what they need to do. It's generally reserved for billionaire status, but in this case, these people are using AI and are writing lots of outputs and inputs with Claude Code. And we want to be billionaires, but we are going to be billionaires by generating billions of tokens. So like, this is kind of my general idea. I'm just kind of rambling, obviously. And we're going to use the higher reasoning and we're just going to submit. So let's let it cook. Let's go. Oh my God, bro. This is ridiculous. So the playground on Groq is not going to format the output like this. And so we'll have to put this into Notion. And so let me just go to Notion here and just kind of keep going here down here. All right, cool. Let's see what it says. I'm really curious. So do billionaires need money? No, they need 3 commas. Oh, that's a banger. Yo, that's good. I'm not going to lie. That's actually kind of a banger. How can you become a billionaire by generating tokens with Claude Code? I like the curiosity gap. That's a really, see how it gets you to think about these things, right? Emotional triggers, dream of wealth, love, money, AI tech, FOMO. Only 500 people ever get invited. Because I think, is it true that there's only like 500 billionaires in California or US or something? Let's see. How many billionaires are there in the US? I'm just really curious. Oh, now it's 813 as of 2024. Okay. Interesting. So like this is kind of playing off that. I think probably the time this model was trained is probably 500. Yeah. That's actually kind of fire though. Like as far as membership, like you can only 500 people get into the 3 comma club. Real money billionaires versus token billionaires digital. Your bank balance says the same. Your token count skyrockets. This is funny. This is so funny. And it's like doing a psychological analysis. As an open source model, this is really impressive. Like 120 billion parameters is really cooking. For these social media workflows that you can even run on device, this is super hot. So wow. So 3 comma club, billion token status. Like these are okay. Invite only billionaire club. Yeah. Become a billion token billionaire. No. No, I don't like these outputs right now. Okay. I like for hooks, you know, I like the questions that it did earlier to get me thinking about different ideas for hooks, right? So like, I think that was an interesting analysis to like formulate my thinking. It's like, oh, okay, this is the way I should start framing these things. Join the 3 comma club, billion token status with Claude AI. I turn 1 billion AI tokens into billionaire invitation. No. Okay. All right. We got to work on the model, but hey, it's open source. It's just getting started. And this is like, you don't have to figure out how to download the weights if you want to. You can do that. But you can already start playing around with it on Groq, Groq. That's hilarious, actually. Billions of tokens equals billions of dollars. Trace commas token club. Yeah. OpenRouter, OpenAI, open source. Basically 131K context, $15 per million, and then or 15 cents per million and 60 cents per output. That's really nice, actually. If you can put this on my phone, it's over, bro. Really? Like if I put this model on your phone, y'all would download this and play with it? Like you could just chat? There's this thing called Apollo AI. I think phone. Let's see. AI app phone. Okay. So, I think it's Apollo IO. I think. I don't know if they're going to show it for me. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is the company. So if you're curious and you want to play with open source models on your phone right now, this guy's done a good job. I think you pay for it on the App Store, but you can download and run all the models locally, and it works without any internet. So you can download all the latest models. It's hosted. You can even host it on your Mac as well and do the OpenRouter thing. You can connect to other endpoints like OpenRouter as well, and we can connect to Groq. And you have a chat interface as well. And Yeah, you can just run everything locally on your device. So if you're definitely check out Apollo. I think I forget his handle on Twitter and stuff, but I think it's a guy here in San Francisco who made this. When I say a guy, it's like a young kid. And he definitely cooked, and I'd highly recommend the app. I bought it. It's just totally worth it. I don't have it on my Mac, but I have it running on my phone. Yeah. Zuck must be in shambles, bro. Yeah, like, have y'all heard of Meta? Hey, Meta, are you okay, bro? Are you awake right now? I hope you're like cooking some heat right now, because I know you're busy acquiring. You're doing all these crazy trades and stuff. And like, you could have the, like Los Angeles Lakers of AI, but if they're not winning championships, bro, like, I don't know what like you're doing. So we'll see. I know it takes a little while. We're talking a lot of smack right now, but give them 24 months and we'll see. I mean, if in 24 months, if they start hitting it like super crazy, we'll see. There's so much drama around this space is so ridiculous. So when Gemini 3.0, I think they're waiting, to be honest. They're going to be waiting for the sauce. Yeah. So I haven't even considered running models on my actual phone. It can make some crazy apps with this. Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's so much opportunity. So if you're looking into AI models and you're playing with the MLX models, look into one called Kokoro. And this is one of the guys, his name is Prince Kanuma. So he's doing a lot with like MLX audio, and you can literally run a really lightweight model that sounds way better than Siri, by the way. And that's an audio model, text to speech and speech to speech as well. You can start talking to a Siri-like thing. And if you run this open source model to have conversations with it in this loop, bro, you have a Siri on device that's smarter than Siri already. And you're doing tool calling, right? So now you can do tool calling. You can even tell it to go talk to the internet to go grab information. So literally you'll have a powerful Siri just on device that you can actually talk to. So yeah, Prince Kanuma, go look up Kokoro, Kokoro, and go look up MLX audio. Prince Kanuma supports that. I highly support him on GitHub. I think I pay him like $5 a month or something. This guy is awesome. Support your open source folks, because he's spending all this time doing it. He used to do this stuff on a MacBook, so he finally was able to get like a higher end machine to get these models uploaded onto Hugging Face and available for everyone to download. So he does a lot of work in that space, and I definitely would appreciate you check him out for sure. Meta right now, teleprompter for Zuck. Bro, I want to make an AI movie because I feel like this whole thing is getting out of hand. Yeah. 120 is on par with O3 model benchmarks. Dude, I'm telling you right now, this model is beautiful. I'm super hyped about it. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, RW. M1 Max Pro, 36 gig of RAM is crawling. Yeah, you're going to need more RAM if you're going to be, depending on the model that you're running, you're going to need more RAM. If you want to check that out, I made an LLM calculator. So I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. And so that y'all can check this out. So this is something I made because I ran into this problem like last year of me trying to figure out like this exact problem. It's like what's the parameter size? What's all the different sauce that I need to run all these models? So I dropped that in the chat. So if you want to check it out, it's llm-calc.rayfernando.ai. And so depending on your configuration, so my boy, I think is running with 32 gigs of RAM. And if he has the 4-bit quantize, you should theoretically run 57 billion parameters. But here's the thing. You're going to run into some issues if you're going to have actual token window, context window that's actually useful. So if you're going to run that like, let's just say 128K, 123 token context window, you don't have enough RAM, buddy. You're going to have to actually bump your RAM usage to maybe like you're going to have 128 gigs of RAM to run this like at the full context window. So like, okay, so let's just say, on Groq right now, the max token context windows is this. So let's pop that into here and see how much RAM I need, right? So we're going to literally just be on par with what Groq is doing for the context window. Wait, is that the context window? No, it's completion tokens. They don't show me the context window. But anyways, let's just say your context window, you want it to be like 32K, right? I'm not like Groq probably has a larger context window. At 32K, you can probably get away with if it's 48 gigs of RAM, right? And if you're running a 32 gigs of RAM, you're still kind of hurting right now. So even if you do 16,000, yeah, you can run the 20 billion parameter model, and you're going to be hurting if you're going to be like running on 16 gigs of RAM. Even like with 24 gigs of RAM, you're going to be kind of like chill. But yeah, that's just what's up. This is probably going to be very helpful if you're planning on buying a machine. and figuring out how many parameters you can run at what different quantization levels, because the math matters. It's an open source repo, so you can just hit LLM Calc, and then that'll take you to the repo, so you can actually see the calculations. And if you want to make a pull request or fix a calculation or something, definitely let me know. But I try to spill it all out. I wrote this first in Python, and then I translated this over to React and used Vite. So I just wanted to turn it into like a nice interactive web design. The thing I found when I used Python is the fact that I couldn't actually get like a nice UI interface, and I wanted all the shad CN components and all this really cool stuff. So that's kind of why I wrote it in Vite. I might actually write into Next.js because I want the metadata, because Vite is really bad about SEO, or I need to figure out how to make it better. I might just, figure it out, but whatever. We're kind of doing that. It's 128K token context window on Groq. Let's go. It's really bad, Ray. LO, thanks for the LLM calculator. So man, I hope that you're, Mr. Spin, that you're able to actually get it, to run or something like that, because that'd be super helpful. Quen released a new model too, bro. This stream is not going to stop. I'm just going to have to be like, the Kai Cenat 24 hours like stream until like these model providers stop shipping software, bro. I can't. Oh my God, bro. This is so wild. I can't. Yo, big shout outs to Mr. Spin. Thank you so much for the $9.99, man. It's coming through on the super chat. It's a little bit delayed on my end, so I definitely see it. Yo, man, you are a real one for this, Mr. M Spin. Thank you so much, man. This is so cool. I really appreciate you dropping the support. And actually, I appreciate everyone who's become members as well. Like, all of you guys have helped me get this far, and I can't believe how fast we've been growing as far as the channel. I mean, I've already reached over 14K, and this is because everyone's kind of coming to hang out. And I do love talking about AI stuff. I do love AI coding. And I'm low-key wanting to see if I can cook a little bit more with the actual, you know what I'm going to try to cook with right now? Claude Code, bro. I like this, but right now I feel like I got to get Claude Code some love, right? Because like Anthropic just dropped a big bomb on us. They just said, yo, we hear you're cooking, so we're going to outcook everyone. Dang. Let me catch up on X right now, because I feel like super behind on all my notifications. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, like all of I have alerts for all my friends, and I get to see what's going on. So they're putting OpenAI back. Day 0 support. Damn. Yeah, these guys shipped. Hatis is definitely the one to kind of follow here. Okay, we have Magnific Precision as well. Let's see what else is going on here. Google DeepMind also dropped a model. I don't even know how these people do it in AI, bro. Like, you could just all day. O3 model, LangGraph. We just shipped AI agents. Jesus. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I want to get Claude Code terminal. I'm like aching to play with code right now. So, okay. Cool. So this is our OpenAI image prompt. And I want to see if I can cook with you guys, because I feel like this is kind of where it's going to be going. I'm going to see if I can pop this up a little bit and kind of get my screen ready. So while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get some of my terminal ready and pop open a new window and kind of get this stuff going, because I feel like maybe I can debug some stuff, because I feel like some of the debugging could be really interesting. And I want to push Claude Code a little bit, because I want to see, I have a couple skeletons in my app, like for processing, and I'm really curious to see if it's going to be able to pull them out and understand what it's working with. So like Claude Code, maybe I can just kind of start doing that and maybe asking some questions. So I'm going to see if I can kind of pull that up right quick. So I have cursor, and some people have asked me, how do you get this little icon that's running up here with Claude Code? Because people have to type in Claude Code at the bottom. So I want to give you some sauce right now if you haven't heard about this. So in order for you to get there, you just go to your extensions and you just type in Claude. And as soon as you type in Claude, you'll see Claude Code for VS Code. Download this extension, and basically what it does, it'll just pop it into your browser up here. That's it. Once you do that, you're cool. So then that way your terminal stays down here. You don't have to switch between terminals and stuff, and you have your own little thing up here. So the advantage of having it up here is that not only does it pop up in its own terminal window, but you can do a couple of things. You can say, I want to go ahead and move into the panel. So now you can actually move it into the panel. So it's actually running as its own little like like terminal instance. You're like, okay, no, I wanted to move it into the editor area. So I want it to be up here as its own little editor tab and stuff like that. You're like, nah, I want to actually just pop it out of the entire thing, move it into its own like actual window. So you could say, I want to move it into my own window. Now you actually have your own Claude Code that's running inside of Cursor, but in its own like window. And then within this, if you have two screens, you could just drag this over to the other screen and just literally just have your whole sessions going and everything like that, all in basically Cursor, and it's all integrated. So /IDE, you can see it's already integrated with Cursor, and then it's already active. It says IDE is connected. You have a little dot there. And so that's kind of a pro tip if you're thinking about that. And so in my app, I do some on-device processing, and I want to see if I can make it a little bit more memory efficient, right? So I want to see if I can actually read through the code using the new models. So I'm just going to go /model and see what models we're running with. So it says Opus 4, and I don't know if it should say the Opus 4 models, right? /update /doctor. Okay, so there's some problems here. What does it say? Oh, it just did a diagnosis, right? Okay, enter to continue. Let me just exit. Claude-H. There should be like an update command, right? Because I'm not seeing the new model, which is going to be kind of pointless. Claude update. So Claude Code is up to date now. Expects a global installation. Currently running unknown. Okay. Maybe there's an issue with my installation. Okay, Claude /model. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it is. I just needed the update. Okay, cool. Sick. Now we got Opus 4.1. Let's go. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can pre-build some of its context here, because I'm totally thinking about where I have this code and kind of where everything's kind of written here. So let me just kind of pop this up over here and make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of see what's going on. So in my app, I have some WebAssembly code and other on-device processing that I want you to take a look at, because I think there are several memory leaks and I want to make sure I capture them. And I want you to find those places in the code and pull them out so that I can start looking at the files. I don't remember exactly where they are. So what's going to be helpful here is if you actually help me also generate a diagram to show what's happening in these different processes so that we can start to do some debugging. All right. I need you to think harder for this task. So, okay, cool. This is us doing its thing. And basically what I'm doing is just some like general level debugging. And with this general level debugging, I'm just trying to understand like I gave it a direction to go look at it, and it's generating its plan now. So it's going to generate its plan. And I'm hoping that it can start to look through my code and figure out like, you know, where is this problem and kind of what's actually happening. And I'm thinking, I thought I fixed the problem, but I just want to make sure I don't have any memory leaks and stuff. And I'm really curious if it can start to kind of point me down this direction and maybe start doing some debugging like tasks for me. So it's going to be doing its thing. It's actually searching through the code, and it's going to try to figure out like, you know, where the stuff is actually at in my software so that I can try to fix it and so forth. So this is it reading through the lines of code and a little bit about like kind of debugging and that type of stuff. Let me see if I can kind of pull up a web browser and kind of get that stuff going here. So while we do that, I'm going to kind of catch up also in the chat. I'm a little bit behind as well. So rayfernando.ai, if you don't know, is a resource where I put some of my stuff from my blog. And one of the resources I have that I want you to check out, it's called Getting the Most from Claude Code Part 1. And so in here, I talk about planning mode, but the other one I talk about is like think harder. So for those who don't know, there are actually like 4 thinking modes. And this is like not something I made up based off vibes. It's actually referenced in the Claude Code's best practices. And in here, you have ultra think harder, think hard, and think. So you don't necessarily always want to pull out the bazooka or ultra think, because that's going to consume 32,000 tokens of your thinking window. And so what that means for us is basically context visualizer. I'll show you real quick. I made a demo in V0 because I feel like this type of context is really important to have. And this is probably the best way I've learned to explain it because I just made some software to help you kind of realize this type of thing. So it's not V5. I want to run V4. So in here, let me just open this in a new tab. Okay. So this is your brain on drugs. I mean, this is AI, right? So whenever you're doing like a query like this, you're going to consume some tokens in the language model, and you're going to have user input, you're going to have agent thinking, and you're going to have tool calls and things. So whenever we're doing, like, I'd say I want to just do this specific task, it's not going to consume that many tokens. But if I do agent thinking, I'm going to do 8,000, 16,000, 24, 32. So 32,000 thinking tokens is the equivalent of ultrathink. So you can already see how much of the context window you've filled up just by doing a request and having it do some ultrathinking. So what we will do is start to make some tool calls and look through your code and grab the relevant files, which is kind of like what we're seeing happen right now in Claude Code. So Claude Code is basically doing that. It even sometimes tells us how many tokens it's using. It's already used 53,000 tokens for doing the specific one to do. So as of now, basically what we're seeing here is we've already used 54,000 just from like agent thinking and then some tool call requests, right? And so by the time it wants to actually generate code or do any type of things, if it does generate code, it's going to generate quite a bit of code. And then you're like, okay, I want to go ahead and now follow up and do this next task. So whatever you give it, and if you still have ultrathink enabled, you're going to have 4 of these agent thinking, 2, 3, 4. So that's level 4 of the ultrathink. And we haven't even gotten into tool calls yet. And so you can see how fast the token window gets filled up. We're already at 74% of it being filled, literally just from like 2 requests using ultrathink. That's why I don't always want to pull out the bazooka. I want to do something maybe medium. So in order for you to go medium, you want to basically say, I want to just think hard. So think hard is just going to be, instead of 32,000, it's going to be 16,000. So I think is it 16,000 and then 8? Yeah, 8, 16, 32. No, it's not 64. So 8, 16, and then 4, 2, I forget. So 32,000 is the most, and I think it's halves itself all the way down. So it'd be 16, then it'd be 8, and then it'd be 4, I think. So if you tell it to think, it's going to use 4,000, the context window. Think hard would be 8,000, and then 16 from here, and then 32 from there. So think hard will basically you can see how much it will compress if you just get rid of half of these. If I get rid of I think I should be able to get rid of them, right? I need to add some code to actually do this visualizer the right way. But anyways, you can see how much more tokens you can save, and that'll help you with like the turns of the different things. And so maybe you'll only want to do one type of task, and then you want to spawn a sub-agent. And if you have a sub-agent do some research, and if it's on its own, it'll start to use so many different tool calls and code output, and then you can keep having multiple turns like within one type of agents, and then you just want to keep adding different agents to do different things, and now you can spread out your token window usage. So I feel like this is a really good way of like trying to help us understand what tool we should be using at what time. So it's going to now give me a memory leak analysis and say, yes, please go ahead and write these changes. So it's going to do a lot of that stuff. Let's see how many tokens it consumed. I'm just really curious. It did. Okay. Cool. So where's my file? Here we go. Okay, so now I completed the memory leak analysis. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Leaking. So high priority. Okay, so audio context leak. So the audio content is created but not closed on error paths. So if I have an error, I basically leave a 6 megabyte memory leak. Ouch. I should probably fix that. It's not high priority, right? If a user refreshes their browser, that would get cleared out. So yeah. I don't know if I should be going through my bugs in public like this, but that happens, right? That's why I want to show you this type of stuff, but it's okay. We have a mount leak, so it mounts, but always does not get unmounted on errors. So a lot of the code that I generated for my app doesn't have like a lot of error case recovery options. And so yes, my app works, it's really fast, but if there's an error along that process, the recovery from them isn't like super crazy, will like bring down the entire app. Like the worst scenario it gets is that it stops responding, and most users will hit refresh on the browser anyways, and it'll clear everything out. which is kind of what I was going for. I was basically going for MVP, get something that people like. It works really well. It works a lot of the percentages of the time. Most people don't have problems actually. And then come back and take a look at these other things. So what I'm doing here as an engineer, it's just kind of looking at this from a performance standpoint. It's like, how good is the performance going to be if I can improve these other things? And those are like what I call like those like minimal details that people don't care about. But if you spend extra time making sure your app is going to recover from these different error cases and it just always consistently works, your software is going to be preferred over other people's software. And that's really, really important, especially in this AI age. So earlier we were talking about the Craftsman era. I think Sam was calling it the fast fashion era or something like that. Yeah, Craftsman is kind of where I sit. This is Craftsman level things like fixing your memory leaks, fixing these error cases, all these little details that you need to get right in your app. You'll have time for them, right? Like I'm still scaling my app. Is it the right thing to do right now? Maybe, maybe not. But sometimes like they will bite you at scale and that could be too late because by the time you get like thousands of users hitting your app, you know, just 1% problem can affect a lot more people than it does right now with like a 1% problem. So, and like people were hitting me up last week saying, hey, Ray, the app is stuck. I can't make any transcriptions. Can you fix it? And I just did this like, you know, big old Band-Aid thing that I did back in the day. I was like, it finally caught up to me. I was like, damn, I actually have to roll back all of those changes. It was really sad. I did a whole Git rollback, you know, for like a couple weeks worth of work because I didn't really plan the architecture correctly. And that's okay. I mean, like I was just moving fast, but you know, to me, using AI is literally like putting on a blindfold and having like, you know, driving a Lambo down like the Golden Gate Bridge. And then the AI is just trying to tell you like, yo, you got this, move left or right until you fall off the bridge. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. Yeah. Why don't you have stream on chat? I think the biggest part, Cry, is because of the monetization issue. So YouTube will boot monetization depending on whatever's happening on the screen. So they have some stuff that reads through the screen, and I want to make sure that whatever's on screen is actually like appropriate. And so that's kind of is what it is. So yeah, let's see. Let me just catch up a little bit more on the chat. I think, what do you think about ChatGPT-5 will be able to do? What makes sense? What makes it different? So GPT-5, I think what's going to happen is just we don't know yet, right? We're just guessing as far as what can happen here. But if the Horizon model is true, it's going to be able to basically do a lot of multimodal things like voice, reasoning, grab stuff from the world that no other model's been able to do, all combined into one. And then it'd be interesting to see what happens from a code standpoint as well. But what I think is going to happen is going to be like an architecture shift in our thinking. So whenever you have a GPT-5 level model, it's going to be 100 times bigger than GPT-4. So GPT-3, when it came out, was 100 times bigger than GPT-2. And then GPT-3 was already crazy because it was like our first sense of like the models actually outputting something interesting. But it wasn't until GPT-4 came out with code and stuff, that was 100 times bigger than GPT-3. So now if you think about that in the history of things, everything is a 100x leap. So the next GPT-6, which is like 36 months away or something like that, will be 100 times bigger than whatever's going to come out today. But that's already crazy insane because GPT-4 has already had these companies who's raised billions of dollars. Cursor 24 months ago went from 0 to 20, like in 24 months, like making 100 million annual recurring revenue, like the fastest to grow based off of that whole timeline, right? From GPT-4 era to like now. We haven't even hit GPT-5. Think about how many more companies are going to hit that trajectory just with that, because the intelligence of the models keep getting bigger and people are approaching these problems, leveraging that intelligence of those models. And so we're going to be in the software era. So the software that's going to be sitting above it to leverage the intelligence is going to be what's going to be happening. So when it's first released, it's not like going to be like we open the door and all of a sudden like Jesus walks through or something, you know, water turns into wine type of stuff. But it's going to be like, for the people who know, which is you and everyone who's currently in this video right now, you are up on this because you know that there's something there. And so that's your job to take this and run with it. Not only run, go as fast as possible, go crazy, and you know, good luck. So that's kind of that in a nutshell, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what's up. AI summer is cooking for sure. Groq 4 has left the chat. Nah, man, you just wait. Just wait. Try open code with the new Groq hotness. Yo, update on the app because I have news models. Okay, cool. Yeah. Playing with the GPT's open source in LM Studio is very good for general use. Yeah. Anthropic's Opus 4 landing page says this at the end. We recommend upgrading from Opus 4 to for all use cases. Oh, kind of seems like they're pushing Sonnet aside. Hey, all use cases? That is interesting. Did you notice how fast Opus 4.1 was, by the way? That is interesting. Okay. We plan to release improvements to all our models in the coming weeks. Okay, Haiku is not even in this picture right now. But if Haiku comes in at a level of intelligence that's super ridiculously cheap, yo, low-key, I think that can kind of steal a lot of thunder right now. No one's talking about it right now, but we're talking about it right now. They increased the amount of tokens. I hope so. Okay. Do thinking tokens really stay inside the context window? I believe so. It's part of the whole chat and the conversation, right? It'll be better than Opus 4 for coding. What do you think about China AI space? Are they bullying the open source space? Bro, I think China is just on their own, bro. Like they're just on one. And I really sincerely think that they're so cracked because they don't have the resources. So they're coming up with new inventions out of necessity more than it is out of just, whatever. And these people have so much experience. You need like a lot of experience to make a lot of these breakthroughs. And you need to be writing like directly to the metal. And so they're either writing their own frameworks to dock directly to the metal. They have all this other research they're balancing. But on top of having all that, you need to have a really good technical leader who understands product. So you can have research, but unless you have a technical person who understands the product and the direction of where you can take some of this underlying research, that's where you're going to have that breakthrough. So an example of this are the reasoning models, right? So GPT 4.5 was in the pipeline, right? So whenever you have a .5 release, that's 10x bigger than the last model. So GPT 3.5 was 10x bigger than GPT 3. GPT 4 came out, and then GPT 4.5 came out. So that was a 10x leap from GPT 4. Nobody's talking about GPT 4.5. That model kind of went back into the ground because people are like, this is not as good as the reasoning models. So you're like, Ray, what's the deal with the reasoning models? How did that come about? That came about some researchers. They said, hey, we're getting better outputs if we use like synthetic data, if we generate these like reasoning chains, and then we start to train these models to see if we can actually go through these like reasoning traces. And so once it does that, then we basically have this cached version of a lookup for all of the stuff all over the language model in a really high level way, right? And now we're able to like pull more intelligence out of the model and look at the benchmark scores. It can, sort of like, what appears to be reasoning for itself is just literally kind of doing this like, spew. I call it spew. I don't actually think it's real reasoning, to be honest. It's just simulated reasoning. But what's happening there is like that person who recognized that thing said, I think this could be a product that's going to be changing and much more viable. And it literally changed the whole trajectory of where AI was going, right? People knew about these techniques, but people then said, if we try to integrate them into a product, try to put them into something, now it becomes a whole spawn of different things. So that reasoning model came out the same time this GPT 4.5 was out, and people prefer the output from the reasoning models. And so then that becomes its own thing. That's kind of why it has to just get out there to the world. And I think that's kind of maybe where the direction of GPT-5 is going, is now if you have these large models like that are 100 times bigger than GPT-4, but then you add these other layers that can do reasoning to add more questions, to find more context, to pull relevant data, to build a simulation of the world to see if you can ask it in its own little containers at millions of tokens a second, come back and do some other cool stuff in combination with everything, then you have something that just feels unreal, right? But we don't know yet. So I feel like there's a lot of different ways and there's a lot of different threads to pull on here. And everyone's kind of looking at each other in this space because it's so massive. And I'm really curious to see what they come up with. I don't think a lot of the media will try to position it us versus them. either or. It's so massive. It's to look at it that way is actually kind of not giving it the respect that AI needs because it's just so freaking massive. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming at with that. Opus 4.1 available in Claude Code. Yes. And then we got to try it out there. So yeah, wouldn't it be better just to go ultra think mode and always use it a lot, since it will compress the conversation anyways and the value will still be higher than the output is better? Karti, this is a really good question. And I used to think this. I used to do this all the time. This was like my main mode of thinking. And what changed my thinking was this paper from ChromaDB. And they released this paper about basically context rot. And so what they said, basically the sweet spot is about 50% token utilization. And the other thing that made a bigger impact on the output being actually right was if you had these other things that would throw the model off. So one of the things that I used to like to do is just kind of what I call spray and pray. I would literally throw the entire like bag of groceries, everything into there. But what ends up happening with these models sometimes is if they see too many directions to go in, those are called distractors. And those distractors can throw off the model and start to like forever rot the context going forward. And so you just need one distractor, and after about 50% token utilization, and the output drops like almost to like ridiculously low, 0. So that's just with one distractor. When you add 4 in, bro, it's over. And this happens all over your code base. And it happens even more so if you have AI generated code bases, because then you'll have the same function in 4 different places that have similar meaning. And so those start to become distractors for it, for what your goal is. So you hear a lot of people, they'll say, well, I'm just going to compact the window. They compact it, but because they still have the compacting in there, they still have those distractors as part of the compact message. And so those distractors, now you have a small context window again. That distractor is going to, for every request going forward, you're now going to distract it and say, now, I just wanted you to change this. Why are you changing this? Like, you got to get rid of that distractor. You got to clear the window. So UltraThink, while it's good, it could also pull in too many distractors for the thinking windows going forward, or for your context window going forward. So it's right now, we're only saying this. This is 2025 summer in August. This conversation can completely change by next year. Let's just say GPT-5 has a whole new way of context management that no one's been talking about because they've been keeping it under the wraps. Yo, we can just be like, we don't care about context, bro. Like, it feels like infinite context because it just manages it by itself. That's the current state that we're in. That's the experiment level that I've been kind of doing in research-wise. And that's what's actually changed my opinion. And I'm hoping that can maybe change your way of thinking to try to approach these types of conversations. You may see some more reliable things, maybe not, but that's just what I've been able to see in my experimenting as well. So yeah, products experience is not good yet with Chinese models, even Claude UI's chat is lacking. ChatGPT is great. Yeah, ChatGPT is a go as far as like those types of product experiences. Life moved from PPT to GPT. Claude 4 Opus is more likely to reward hack than Opus 4.1, according to Anthropic's ASIC card released on Opus 4.1. That'll be really interesting about reward hacking. And this is going to be even more important for reviewing some of the outputs. So part of the reason why I don't use a lot of MCPs, and part of the reason why I don't just delegate a lot of my stuff to like Taskmaster or some of these other MCPs that do a lot of the thinking for you, is because I kind of want to keep my PRD documents super lightweight. I want to eliminate those, basically those distractors that will cause the model to start to generate code in ways that I don't want to do it. And I really want to supervise these types of things. Because if you have a model that's just like this with 4.1, it's going to take every single line extremely seriously in your PRDs. And if you don't even review them, it can start going off into ways that you may not even realize until it's too late. So now you have all the spaghetti code that maybe you didn't really need, right? So this is very common if you're going to be developing with Swift UI. The APIs updates like every year, right? So there's going to be new APIs and new functions that basically do all the stuff that happened like 3 years ago. And so now you could just write it with one line and one little dot parameter function. And now you have like, animations, right? So previously you'd have to write this out in this like large file and have a separate file and then call that in and do that, whatever you're doing. And so if you have stuff that's generated through like a Taskmaster, it's going to look through, and Swift, like, I don't know if you know, but like Swift is like the worst code that you can ever write for language models because the training set is just, there's just not enough information out there for it. It's all locked into like Apple's vault, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a lot of data from older sources, even if you pull in the latest documents, it's always going to prefer its own training set, what it was trained against. And so if you have a reward hacking model on top of that, now you're going to have like even more bad, like overly generated code that maybe you don't want, right? You want maybe simpler code. You want less code. You want to use the latest APIs. You want to actually read through and, generate those types of things yourself, or just have more focused generation and kind of go into that type of thing. I know it sounds kind of old school, but I feel like it's super useful to understand context of where that's at. Elon will erase Groq 4.12 AI season. I'm so excited about like Groq 4 code that I know this model has that intelligence in there because I saw it even from Groq 3, and the code model is going to be, I think it's going to be crazy, but I'm not here to hype. I'm here to see results. So we'll see that when it comes out. Could you share the ChromaDB paper? Yeah, let me see if I can find this real quick. ChromaDB context rot on Google. Because here we go. Cool. Yeah. So I just typed in ChromaDB context rot. And the first one, Google, okay. This is the research paper. And let me put this in the chat so y'all have this here. And so this is that type of thing. And so this is the context rot. And this is exactly the what they were talking about, the performance by input for the tokens. And so this is Claude Sonnet, Qwen, GPT Flash, and we'll see a little bit further here. They talk about this concept of distractors. So like the needle in the haystack type of thing and how these models find the information. And this is kind of why I was talking about why it's really important for Opus. So like when it has irrelevant context, and this is what they call a distractor. So it says the best writing advice I got from college classmate was to write every week. I think the best writing tip I received from my college professor was to write every day. So like there's these types of distractors that can kind of said like, so what's the best writing advice I got from my college classmate? So you'll actually find it's interesting how they ran all these different tests, and they can show you like similarity biases between high and low similarities, and the like actual, if you have more than 500,000 tokens, like this is a low performance on 3 models, like how the accuracy kind of starts to really just drop pretty hard, right? And then this is, if you go to like input distractors, and they're talking about like this needles here, and then these are this like how many distractors. So this is like no distractors, 1 distractor, and 4 distractors. So these distractors are kind of what I was talking about. So think of this one as like, I have no distractors. I know exactly you need to go to this file, write this thing in and do this specific task and get out of here. That's basically no distractors, right? You're like, I don't know what to do, but make sure you can just do whatever. This is like where you start to generate this pollution. And what they show with like 4 distractors in this orange, right? If you have more than 500,000 tokens, you start to just see how bad like the performance is for some of these models, right? And that's why I say like the 50% point is like really the sweet spot, because it starts to kind of fall off a cliff the more distractors you get. So as you start to introduce pollution into your actually inputs, you start to have like this really just colossal ridiculousness that starts to go into nowhere. And so they're talking about this is an amazing paper. There's a video on this as well from a lady who actually kind of thinks she was working on this at ChromaDB as well. Phenomenal. I mean, I have still yet to read the full thing, but I learned so much just from watching the video and understanding this concept and then trying it myself, right? So like Claude 4, Haiku, like look at how they just fall off a cliff. Yeah. It just makes such a difference that I think it's worth talking about, and more people should be talking about this. So yeah, was Opus 4.1 was tied to the stream. I joined late. How good is it compared to Opus? We're still testing it out. I haven't really got the chance to play around with it too much. Interesting recontext rot. With Claude Code, I get very specific, change this feature, these classes. If not, it goes off and reads my JSON files. Yes. And I think that's kind of why it's really good about reasoning. I'm curious to see how 4.1 does. Hierarchical thinking paper. Did you check that? No, it's a different way of thinking than just thinking in context. I'd love to learn about that. Yeah, if you got a link for that, for sure, definitely share it. Are you doing anything with MCP servers? Any examples? Right now, I think if I do use an MCP, it's Convex because that's my database provider. And it's usually to go check a request or do some debugging. So I've done some debugging recently where I just wanted to make sure some values were written. So I just, as part of the debugging loop, I would just say, you have access to a Convex MCP, feel free to use that. And here's the development environment that it's in. And then you can make queries against it and figure it out. So that's nice. It just saves me copying and pasting the stuff in the database as well. which is the tools that let you see your CC usage. So it's called bunx. So bunx CC usage is the command you want to run. So I'll show you what that looks like here. So in here, let me just kind of move my window here. And you could just do bunx CC usage. And this will basically give you your Claude Code usage. So as of whenever I started this from the very beginning, it's like $500 something. But today I just used, $3.34. And I basically used both models. So 1 million tokens today. I mean, it was pretty lightweight. We're just kind of messing around here. The paper seems like a conflict of interest. Chroma is a rag company. I mean, you take it for what you got to read. Like, read it yourself with that type of bias and see what you come back with, I learned a lot just from doing it. Trust me, I have biases too, and I question everything. But literally, it changed. Like, if you just experiment, just prompt differently, try distractors yourself, try the same experiments yourself. That's why they publish these things, right? It's not like when you read the paper, you will immediately know if it's what I call like pharma vibes. So like, if it's like super self-serving, but this is totally not. But dude, if you have some more information, come back at me. Like, let's go. Like, let's talk about it, because this is what we're here about. Like, as a community, we need to talk about this stuff more, right? We need to talk about prompting. We need to talk about like removing hype from all these like different models too. So this is the way I think Claude Code becomes dumber, because of the context, correct? Yeah, like if it gets too muddy. Did OpenAI? Yes, OpenAI released an open source model today. And there's 2 models that are currently released open source. And we got to play with one. And they're also currently available to download on Hugging Face, but you can play with them on Groq, Groq. Super duper fast inference. And that's kind of what we're doing there as well. It's supposed to be on par with O3. I'm pretty impressed with some of the workhorse stuff that it can do so far. And I took one of my workflows and kind of did some of that. Mike, how's it going, man? Ollama 11, welcome OpenAI. Oh, sweet. I have to download Ollama. So if you aren't familiar, Ollama will let you download these open source models, and it's just as simple as like a command line. So let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. So if you aren't familiar, just go to Ollama. It's probably like the fastest way you can get up and running with any open source model. So in order for you to do this, all you have to do is just go to, let's see. I was hoping they have like a getting started here. Docs. Ollama. Okay. They used to have a command that you can just literally run. It was like Ollama something, and then you just go download. I think it's now just a web interface, huh? I did it. I used to do it the old school way, which is like you just literally do Ollama pool, and then it would do its thing. So I guess now you just download an app, huh? Wow. Damn, these guys have like really grown up. Oh, so yeah, they have a new app. Okay, cool. So there's literally an app now. Oh, that's hot. Yo, I'm learning new. I do everything through the terminal. So you can actually chat with the models now with the app. That's super hot. Oh, that's a nice app. Wow. So I call Ollama like the Docker for AI. So what that means is like the language models are currently hosted. You can just tell it what model you want to download. It'll just download it. And then you can start using it locally on your machine. That's super awesome. And so this is very familiar if you're using LM Studio, has a similar type of thing. Their interface is super clean. And you can, now text and reason with PDF files too. Sheesh, let's go. Oh man, that's hot. That's super hot. You can even adjust the context length, multimodal support. Bro, I slept on this release. This totally missed my radar. Dude, the chat is fire right now. If y'all in the chat are just totally blowing it up. Oh, let's download this. I want to get the model running on my machine. Let's do it. Let's do it. Download. Okay, I want to download for Mac OS 10. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hope I don't download a virus on Mac OS 10. Oh man, this is so crazy. Yeah. All right. So we got to do this thing. Everyone always asks online, why do you have to do this little drag and drop in this type of thing? Okay, replace. So I don't know if you know this, but once you do this, you can you don't actually have to drag and drop. You can just literally do a command line tool to install the app. But yeah, for the user interface, I I totally agree. It's like, why do they still have that? So I think I should just type in Ollama. Ollama. Okay. Okay. Ooh. So I can play with the new model already? I could just say, let me cook. $12 GB. Okay. So if you see any lag on the screen, y'all know why. Damn. That's going to take a little long ass time to download right now, but yeah. So it says turbo, sign in to requires Ollama account. Okay. Wow, that's new. Oh, that's fire. I can do this. I can do that. Has a chat history. Okay. Okay. I love the simplicity of this app. It's so clean. I use LM Studio and it's not nearly as clean as this and it's way more confusing. So I really like this chat a lot, actually, the user interface design. Sama says there's an open source model, open model that runs on a phone. Any information on that? That's the 21, supposedly. Well, I don't know if that's the 21 specifically, but I think at 16 gigabytes of RAM though, yeah, it can run on your phone. You can download it. If you have this app called Apollo, you should be able to run it on your phone. So that's going to be really interesting. Does Ollama make money? Do they have a business model? That's a really good question. Let's ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Does Ollama make money and do they have a business model? I'm just curious. I'm curious with you too. Like how sometimes you always got to ask that question. Like, are you the product? Like, how do they make their money? Like, what is it that are they funded like by these like billionaires and just chilling, or like what's the whole thing? Looks kind of similar to Groq Desktop. Ooh, I got to get that app. I have an M3 Pro, 32 gigabytes. Which type of open source models can I run? Is it possible to run the new open source models? If anyone is in the chat in the community, you can link them up right now with LLM-calc that I created. So that will help you kind of try to figure out how much something can run. So LLM-calc.rayfernando.ai. I got to get a better URL. I know this was a tool I made and it's sort of like, it's kind of starting to blow up that people are now trying to use it. But if you have 32 gigs of RAM, this tool will help you kind of figure this whole thing out. So right now, you can run at 4-bit quantized, probably a 57 billion parameter model. Keep in mind though, Jack, I want to show you this real quick. You got to go to the advanced settings and change the context window. That's assuming a 2000 token context window, which I don't realize a lot of people use right now. If you want your context window to be 16K, you're going to be running like a 44 billion parameter model. If you want to change that up to like 32K, 28. If you want to just go to like 64K, like all ham, you're going to need a different machine, buddy. You're going to get out of here with that. So you have to get like 64 gigs of RAM to get like this much, right? So starts to pile up really quick. That's getting 64K context window, right? We haven't even talked about 128K. Bro, you're cooked. You're cooked. That's 4-bit quantization level, right? If you get 8-bit quant, now you're running at a 62. So like my machine right now at 128 gigabytes of RAM, I can run a 128K token context window right now and run a 62 billion parameter model, right? So that's just kind of where you have to look at these types of things and see what your usage is, right? So like, let's just say a phone has 8 gigabytes of RAM and you're running the 4-bit model that they're talking about. There's no way you're going to run 128K tokens. You have to probably run it that at like 16,000, maybe. No, you can't even do that. 8,000? Nope. 2,000? Nope. 1,000, bro? Nah, man, you can't even run the tip. Bro, you need 16 gigs. You need 16 gigs of RAM to run anything like reasonable. Damn. That's why they're saying, I think that's like, I don't know what phones have 16 gigs of RAMs right now. Like that's pretty massive. Ollama is generating revenue. The path is clearer than it was a year ago. I feel like this is a threat. Like it's coming at me like, yo, OpenAI chill right now. It's like OpenAI is coming at me like, yo, like chill, brody. I'm funding them right now. No. But I think it was really funny. So they get a free, so the offering is a free MIT license app The revenue is zero direct revenue, subscription ARR for forthcoming revenues. Oh, so they have a turbo plan. So that's what it was showing us on the thing. So the turbo plan basically allows you to run the data center GPUs. Oh, please tell me more. Turbo? So supercharged models with faster hardware. Okay. Bro, this is so cute. I like this. Turbo lets you speed up model inference, run models using data center grade hardware. Wait, you can run these models on their data centers for $20 a month? Please tell me more. Privacy first? Save battery life? Yes. I can't tell you how much battery these things take up, bro. No way. So $20 a month, you can run the open source model, basically O3 as much as you want. And you can basically Claude codify and do all that crazy workflows that everyone's doing and stuff, just hitting their data centers. No rate limits, right? Does not log or retain. Wait, are they hourly and daily usage? Okay, so they do have hourly and daily usage, but they don't really talk about it. Oh, it's a preview model. Oh, because they're probably just trying to see how many people will abuse it. Yo, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty fire. That is cool. So does it work with the CLI? Yes, it works with the CLI as well. Are you excited about this? This stream will never stop. We're just going to keep going here, bro. This is so crazy. What is going on here? This is great. Oh, wow. Okay, so today I learned. That's how they make their money right now. So they basically built this framework to make money eventually. They didn't know where they were going. They basically pivoted, right? So their subscription model, they said do this thing where they sell the seats. This is hot. How much money we're talking about? 3.2 million in 2024. Oh, they got funded by YC. Okay. Bro, y'all want to hit them up. Ollama, you got to sponsor this channel. You got to sponsor this live stream. I'd love to talk about you every day. This is really great. I want you guys to do well. This is needed in our world right now. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is great. Huh. Today I learned, folks. So let's take a look. It's still downloading? Wait, no way we downloaded this that fast. Oh, it lost its Are we cooking? Edit. Let me cook. Okay, I think the app needs a little bit of work. Let's see. Okay, sign in, no Ollama account. Context length. Okay, so this is where we adjust the context length. So this is what I was telling you about, like how big of a difference this can make for your app. Yeah, I think, let me cook. I wonder if the model already finished downloading and it's just trying to load the model weights on my machine. Let me check activity monitor. By the way, I'm probably eating up tons of memory right now because I'm live streaming to 4 different platforms. I'm live streaming to X, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, LinkedIn. What else am I live streaming to? Oh my gosh. Twitch? Yeah. All X, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. I've running a language model, loading it into memory. I've used 89 gigs of RAM, and you can see the RAM is it spiking up? I think we're good. It's thinking. Let's see. Core audio. I don't see the task that's running for in here. Oh my gosh. Let's see what my biggest memory consumer is. X. I like how my web browsers are literally consuming the most amount of memory. Python, dude. Okay, who's running these Python processes right now? Homebrew? Why are they running them? Bro. Who's calling this? Oh, they're still running a downloader. Okay. Yeah, they've kicked off all these processes to run downloaders right now. So they're still downloading the model. Dang. and the UI is just, there's a bug here. So there's a UI bug in the Ollama app because it's not updating the state of the download. And so it looks like underneath the hood, they're running a Python process to download the model, probably from Hugging Face. And they don't have the right state. They lost the state. It's okay. It's not a make or break thing. Okay. That's why I didn't see the memory. So the memory will then have to spike up from here, which may like totally degrade the stream. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Okay, cool. That's Ollama. We found out about Ollama Turbo. We found out about context rot. Damn, we've been cooking. LLM Calculator, if you wanted to do the thing, make sure you leave a little star there. So that's what's up. Hey, Dan, how's it going? Yo, man, we're chilling right now. Dan from the Cursor team, what's happening? Feel free to drop any comments. Let me know any questions you guys have. I think it'd be kind of fun. 128 gigs of RAM on Apple machine. Wow, expensive. Yeah, it's basically almost like 10K. I think I dropped like, oh, that's the other thing. It's like if you buy it used, I think I got mine for like 5 or 6K. So if you go to apple.com, the secret here, if you don't know, is to buy a used machine. And when I say used, it's not used like you buy it from the store, you give it back to them and they just like put some duct tape on it and then sell it back to you. I don't know if there's a certified refurbished, certified. Okay. So Apple has a certified refurbished. You got to go to the bottom to find this thing out. All of this stuff basically goes to the factory, gets new parts and everything, repackaged. The only thing that's really different is you have a box that doesn't have the actual photo of the thing. It just has like just a generic looking box. Everything else is the same, like warranty and everything else. It's basically like a brand new machine. It gets recertified. All the parts get replaced. So it's basically new. And so it's different. Like if you ever bought anything from Amazon, sometimes they'll repackage it and send it back to you. It's like, nah. That's not how they go down here. Apple's stuff is crazy. So you get mad discounts on top of that because like it's on this refurbished shop, right? So in here, this is where you can start really going through. So if you're thinking about a machine size that you want, like take a look at the memory, right? Let's just go ham on the memory right now. Let's just go ahead and look at that 128 gig configs right now. So you can look at Mac Studios. You can get an M3 Max right now, 128 gigabytes, no Apple Care, delivered by tomorrow for under 5 bands. That's a crazy deal. So you get the M3 Max chip on a 14-inch, it's certified refurbished, right? But you get all of that. And then the specs here, you get 4 terabyte SSD. So you can run the language model right now hot, like download all the models because those models are big, right? Once you download a couple models, you get 128 gigs of RAM. You're cooking. This is a fire machine for ML for under 5,000, which is crazy. If you try to do the same thing with GPUs, first of all, you're going to be eating tons of energy, just firing up all the GPUs with all these PCs. You're going to figure out what your cooling stuff situation is. And then like the noise level is crazy. You have a 14-inch portable machine that you can carry with you in your hand to run these language models and cook. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Damn, that's hot. Sorry, I get excited about machines. This is so beautiful. LLM Studio, we'll try to keep you download the models that will perform well. There's a lot of extra not useful stuff. I think it's just like LM Studio is just like this giant B52 plane, like where it's like you can toggle every switch you want to do, and it's great. But like sometimes you just want a simpler interface. I want my grandma to chat with like not chat GPT, but like some open source thing. So that's kind of where I think Ollama is coming in. I really like that. How do you provide your voice input to chat GPT? There's like a voice mode that you can enable. How about when I have 64 gigs of RAM and RTX 4090 though, a laptop, can you add 1 GPU to calculator so it considers that? You would just adjust the RAM slider or type it in, how much RAM you have. It's like an approximate, but Carl, if you have any suggestions, please give me a pull request. I would be open to anything. So to make this easier, I did this from the approach from a Mac angle. Like I have a Mac with the unified RAM. So everything is an assumption that somebody has a unified Mac RAM type of machine. The calculations are somewhat translatable, yes and no. I had it like basically the operating system overhead of like 2 gigabytes, which you can also adjust on the calculator. So you can adjust what your overhead is for your operating system depending on what you're doing. I try to like take away those parameters because it's like left some defaults. I just left it for 2 gigs, but yeah, that's what's up. Downloading 65 gigabyte model. Hey, they need to give me something to cook with on my GPU. Yes. There's also a problem right now in open source space. It's like some of these models are so big, they're just hard to download, and they're like, there's not like a torrent network for them. So somehow Hugging Face is just like, I don't know where they're putting all this stuff at. And I'm thankful to be able to download it, but it can take forever to download. Yeah, that's what's up. You're on a Mac, right? I use NVIDIA. Yes. Yeah. I'm really curious. I would love some more perspective on this because I don't have that hardware. And I would love to know more information of how like the RAM allocation works with these language models and like whether my calculations are even accurate or not, So I'd love any pull requests on the app. That would be super helpful. I use Ecamm Live for my live streaming. I love it so much. It's probably another great thing. Another subscription. I mean, people have options now, right? Like if you're in college, $20 a month can take you a very long way. I mean, to get that level of amazingness. Yeah. So yeah, that's what, at this rate, I'll never have funds to buy it. So yeah, man, use the AI to make money with AI so that you can buy more AI. I'm gonna have to try Ollama terminal. So you have to download the whole model on your SSD though, right? No, I think you use their endpoint. So then you talk to their endpoint and you get that fast response. So you don't have to actually, that's the whole point of signing up for Turbo for Ollama, is that the models are hosted. So it's just a flat feed, looks like it. There's no like credits versus like on Groq. It's super fast. The model is hosted, but you're paying, I think it's 15 cents per million and 60 cents per million output or something like that. I forget what it is, but yeah. It hung there for me as well. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. Yeah. Okay. So Google Pixel. Thank you, Mike, for this information, by the way. Also, big shout outs to everyone who's been in the chat right now, hitting those like thumbs up and everything, and also coming in through. You guys have been so amazing. And we've been able to cook super heavy on this entire stream because everyone's been kind of feeding me in like tweets, like an Anthropic release. Like we all thought that GPT-5 was going to come out, but it didn't. And like this thing. So huge shout outs to everyone who's been participating. Y'all are the real MVPs of this chat. Seriously, it's been making this live stream so much more entertaining and useful for everyone. So the community is really awesome. So the Google 9 Pro XL Fold has 16 gigs. Okay. And the Samsung S24 Ultra has 16 gigs. Okay. So if you're going to be spending like really good big bucks for the 16 gig models, okay, that's super duper interesting. So I'm going to be curious to see how these like models play out for these like premium phones. And I'm curious how the SDK for Android handles understanding how much RAM is available for the system. The other thing too is like, how does the operating system on those platforms manage like the memory? Because do I have to make my own like code to manage what the operating system is doing if it goes into the background, or is that already built into the operating system? I don't develop for Android, but I'm really curious to see how they handle that. I know Apple has like I know Apple the most, obviously coming from there, but like Apple's like OS thing is kind of like abstracted away from most developers, but it's really nicely handled in the background. It's nice because users don't have like these crazy apps that are killing battery life. I don't know if you know this. If you have an Apple phone, if you ever see people like force killing the apps, that actually makes your battery life worse. Yeah. So if you see people who like every single day they open their app and they clear everything out, to make sure the app isn't running in the background, that actually makes your battery life worse. The operating system itself is doing a lot of work underneath the hood to understand which app is open and which thing is requesting information. So just by your usage patterns after about 1 week, it's going to determine like you always open this app at 8 a.m. You always, don't use this app here. You do all these types of things. And that type of thing is basically what gives it a little bit of a budget so that your apps can have the fresh information when you're ready to go. So if every Monday at 7 a.m., you always launch the news app, it's going to probably pop in 30 minutes before and like 15 minutes before to grab the latest information from the feed, given whatever conditions, like if your phone's plugged into power or if it's not plugged into power, but it has over 100%, there's basically this whole heuristic that is happening that it starts to build over time of you using your phone. And so that type of thing actually saves you battery life. So if you're forced quitting the app, then the app has no way of running. And then it can't build that information that like metadata it needs on device for it to do those types of tasks. So you actually end up harming your battery life because when you're now launching the app, you're doing like a full force refresh. You're doing all these types of things. And then there's also extra code that is like running in the operating system for all of these apps. So your apps can run these tiny little like memory containers, like in these little things, like little pieces of your code, just by the way that the operating system is built. That little thing, like one line of or one function, can go run off and do a task and call the networking stack. And it can coalesce it together with the other parts of the stack that are going out to do like weather checking for the, whatever like updates it needs for some mail thing. It'll group those requests together so that it just makes one request. It comes back with all this data for you. Then it populates your apps and fills them in. So that means your entire app doesn't have to be running in memory. And that saves you battery life because it's not using all these CPU cycles to make your data enriched. And so what I'm saying, like overall, is like that's the reason why you don't want to always kill your apps. Apple's managing that memory in the background for you. So you don't have to like figure that out. And if you're an app developer, you don't really have to do that much. You just have to write really good code that can take advantage of these hooks in the operating system. So I'm really curious what like Android is doing with their SDK, if they have similar types of hooks that can do similar types of things. It's part of the reason why, like the software from Apple is like really good, but no one really talks about these details because it's really like not well documented, or if it is documented, it's just really hard to implement. But there's so many different layers to this. But I'm telling you, like this is such a rich like platform that it does so much, and that's why people prefer it year over year, is because people don't think about it too much. And so I just want to drop you off with some of that sauce. I feel like this is what people need to know right now. Let's see. Okay, so that was a really good thing there. Everyone in AI is cooking this week. Yo, is Cursor cooking right now? Like, let me know. Let me know. Yo, how does Cursor compete with Claude Code? I feel like I use both, but I have not been able to decide what to use when. Well, Cursor has their own agent, and I've been playing around with the agent lately, and I feel like the agent has caught up with Claude Code. And so I'm still trying to figure out these different use cases because I'm using Claude Code so much that I'm still trying to pop back and forth and see kind of what works well. One of my favorite cases about just using Cursor is the fact that when you're going in, like all the linting errors and fixes in that little round trip, it's like, it's all automated. It's so fast. And so like Cursor's been the only one that can do linting fixes that are super duper good that fast. So what about a Mac Mini? I think you're talking about this use type of thing, Chris. So in here, they should have some Mac Minis available. So if we go in here, the Mac Studios. Oh, Mac Minis max RAM is going to be 64 gigs. So if you're looking for something there, we can do release year. We can do models. So we can say Mac Mini, and we can get a 64 gig Mac Mini config, all of the different things. So if you want 10 gig Ethernet, you have like 1949, 24. You could even go here. If you wanted, let's just say we wanted not only that, but we also wanted the capacity to be like 4 terabytes. So here's our 4 terabyte configs, 64 gigs of RAM Mac Mini for 2700, 2800, 2900. And so you have full 10 gig Ethernet, or no, this one has gigabit Ethernet. This one up here has the 10 gig Ethernet. Under 3K, you're basically just chilling. M4 Pro, get the like 64 gigs of RAM. You stack 2 of these together, you're chilling. You can have like a mini data center in your house, right? Yeah, that's what's up. So that's really cool. Is it? Let's see. Is it slower, but at least not for us CPU inference? Okay, that's interesting. Your way of pitching is super. I don't know what I'm pitching. Let's see. Also came here for the first time. Could you please introduce yourself? What do you do? What type of content can be expected? Hey, Jack, that's really great. I forget I get new people all the time, so I definitely want to give you guys a heads up. So basically the type of content I do a lot around AI coding. So I'm making my app and I'm using AI to kind of generate freedom for me. I used to be an engineer at Apple for about almost 13 years, and I've come a long way. And I basically got sick with COVID, in 2020, and was on medical leave for several years and got kicked out. Saying like, hey, hopefully you feel better. Let us know when you're ready to come back. The AI wave just started happening for me in 2023. And I was like, man, this is absolutely insane how fast this technology has changed. And as an engineer, I felt that this is where I need to put my energy towards. And so that's kind of where I've been on this journey. So what I do is I turn on these live streams to basically discover live with you. And so I'm experimenting with my style because I'm just still trying to figure out what I do. But I've been having a lot of fun doing web development. So my apps are now, I don't know React, Next.js. I've been trying to learn those by hand a little bit, like in the last couple of years. And I've been having a lot of fun trying to generate code with AI, but also kind of debug it live and prompt and try to use AI to kind of make some of these processes a little bit more automated. Things that I would hate to write, or things that like check code and do other things, I try to like prompt my way into them because, there's stuff that we do that we don't want to do all the time. I've since recovered from all this brain fog and stuff. So I'm using AI as a tool to kind of help me with that too. So you're kind of witnessing this ever evolving thing. My goal is to have software and different types of apps that can help content creators like me now that I'm becoming a content creator, and sharing my knowledge across to help other people. So that's kind of like the gist of the whole channel. And it's totally evolving. And I try to go on to see if I can code live. I have other things where I'm basically doing model comparisons. Whenever a new model drops, like something that's really big, like from Anthropic, OpenAI, or another provider, if it's going to help me with my AI coding, I'm probably going to be live talking about it and trying to do these different tasks in my code to see if it is actually worth it. I've also realized that there's a lot of value in a community. So there's folks who have been joining recently as members. So in my channel, if you just go to the join button, you can actually join to become a member. And I wasn't expecting the growth to happen so fast. I literally was like, oh, my first 100 members will have access to a Discord. So there's a post in there. If you become a member, you can become part of that type of community. If you want to chat with other people who are pretty much like-minded, I think it's just $6.99 a month to get in right now. And the price will be doubling very, very soon. So make sure you get in on that if you're into that type of thing. So that's kind of what I'm up to. I have these bouts where I'm trying to get better as a content creator. I'm trying to learn how to talk in front of a camera a lot better. I have a background in like photography and all these other types of things as well. Extremely crazy background. I dropped out of school. I basically worked my way up and learned all this stuff by hand. I learned by doing. I don't learn by reading research papers. I learned by actually, talking to engineers, looking at code, playing around with things, and tinkering. That's just kind of the long and short of it. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining into the stream. I think that's just been really nice that folks who are new here, I think it's just a little good primer for kind of what you're going to be getting into. Can you ask Cursor team, how come I hit my limit using Claude 4, Sonnet, and Ultra in 20 days? Sardar, there are limits that they have. They kind of give you a ballpark of how much requests you can do. And if the request has so many tokens, by the way, like you can have one large request doing a lot of tokens, you're going to use more compute. And in essence, you can probably hit these limits if you start hitting them, pretty frequently with this type of thing. If you're paying for the Ultra plan, there is still kind of a limit on that. And the limit is basically based, sounds like, on monthly usage. You can use the other models. You can also go to like Ultra, or they may even tell you you're hitting a limit soon. Make sure you change to a different model. If you specifically like a model like Claude 4 or Ultra, or Claude 4 or the Claude Max plans are probably going to be like the best thing for you. If you're only like just Claude everything, I know Cursor has a nice user interface, but if you're trying to get more bang for your buck and it's still $200, that's probably like the best way that I would recommend. It's like, okay, I really like this model. Like for me, I've had a moment right now with Claude 4 where I'm just solely hitting that super hard. But right now I'm going to be coming back to Cursor and trying the agentic approach. I've been using it a lot for Swift development right now in the background. I'm not streaming any of that. And I've been super blown away. I was like, yo, I think this is kind of fire right now. So it depends on your use case, I feel, but definitely experiment and play around. So, I mean, this is still all pretty new, right? Good vibes with Ray Cooks on the Discord too. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. For sure. Are you downloading the new GPT open source models? Apparently so. I just still downloading in the background. So hopefully we'll get that going. I'm using the Ollama app that I just downloaded right now, and we're going to see if we can cook with that. I don't know anything about coding, but I enjoy the vibing with you here. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome, man. It's a whole vibe here. I'm not trying to gatekeep or anything. I think it's just so fun when we all kind of connect and hang out with each other. When buying a local LLM PC, just make sure you get the RTX 5090. That's the key. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I used to build PCs back in the day, so I need to get back into that. It'd be kind of fun. But I say that all the time, but I always go back to a Mac. So yeah, that's what's up. Nice little tip. Yeah, so the laptop really is the win here. dude, yeah, Chris, I think the laptop. So, I forgot to say. So, Chris, you're looking at a Mac Mini versus a laptop. So, the M4 with 128 gigs and the 4 terabytes of RAM, like you get a screen. And the screen is like the 1000 nit screen, right? The XDR display type of screen. You know what I mean? So, that's the pro level machine. So, not only do you get like, some people buy a Mac Mini to put like a really horrible display and they have their little keyboard that's kind of clanky. You have to carry all that gear. No, you get a 14-inch, 128 gig, 4 terabyte for like that used price under 5,000. Crazy deal. Insane deal. So yeah, you can, yeah, I don't know. I'm so excited about this stuff. How is Claude Sonnet 4, Opus 4, Claude Opus 4 versus Horizon Beta versus GLM 5? Yo, man, this guy's asking the real questions here. I should probably do a comparison, but I think you also have to add thinking in the mix because thinking makes the models behave differently. So Claude Sonnet 4 thinking will outperform Claude 4 Opus, just straight up. But as soon as you turn on thinking for 4 Opus, then it becomes up here. And then like I don't yet know the behavior of 4.1 versus 4.1 thinking. And then like they say the debuggability and like debugging hard problems is supposed to be really good. So you better believe for my pull requests, the Opus 4.1 is coming out with that extended thinking. I'm Claude maxing all the way, bro. Like that's where I'm going with this. So we'll see. Yo, Uli just became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. Yo, he's locked in too with the vision. I got my guy. He has like the Vision Pro goggles on. And I got this Vision Pro thing. And shout out to my boy who made this 3D printed thing, which will allow you to basically mount the goggles in this type of cool way. And it's just like the coolest thing ever. And so I like to keep them on display because I can always just lock in. And bro, I see the future right now, bro. This is so wild. Let's see. Is this thing on? Bro, I got to wake up my goggles. Yeah. So I'm making some apps for the Vision Pro, which is pretty fun. And yeah, more on that later. I think it's going to be really cool to share. But yeah, like Vision Pro is insane. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in this space. I'm glad that Apple finally kicked everyone's butt to say, this is what a good experience should look like. And, you know, as far as like, you know, sure, there's heating issues, all these different things, but the user interface and making it feel really real. If you haven't tried one of these, go to an Apple store, do a try on. I would highly suggest you try it out. It's going to kind of blow your mind how good the technology's arrived. And that's based off like the M2 chip, right? So like M4 is already here. Like think about the next stuff. I think it's going to be really crazy. So yeah, big shout out to Uli. I'm excited to see you in the Discord. Definitely check out the members only post and then send me the information for the Discord so I can get you in. Legends learning method, learn by doing. I call like that because all of legends in this field have learned to code by doing. Actually, that's very true. I think Greg Brockman, who heads this stuff, and like all these people at these top companies basically just learn on their own faster and solve real problems in real time. So yeah, nice. Let's cook together. Yo, let's go. Let's go. Curious how Claude agents are useful. What's all that possible? I did not really try it yet. So hard to keep up with the new things. Yeah, so Claude agents, you mean like on the command line? Claude Code technically is like a Claude agent, you know, the sub agents and the different types of things. And in a nutshell, basically you can, what we learned from that ChromaDB paper, if you were kind of listening earlier, is the fact that you're trying to eliminate distractors, right? You're trying to get to tasks where they're like so like direct in terms of what needs to be done. And so you may start off with something vague. So you have a large model like Opus to kind of help you with your thinking, right? So I turned a really vague like idea of what I want for an app into a PRD as one step in this transformation. And so once you have this PRD, then you can give that PRD to these sub-agents. So those sub-agents will basically chunk down that thing into smaller tasks that are very approachable and very doable. So now you start to eliminate those distractors in this type of architecture. So we built this architecture by hand by my describing it this way, right? Here's a generic task, have a large model act on it, have a large model output this, nice document of something that makes sense, and then have a smaller model then start to take those pieces and start to act on them. So that's like an orchestration, right? So in essence, that's kind of what you're doing when you're like doing this agentic work. You're just taking this multi-step process and breaking it down into steps that can be repeatable over and over again. And then you could even say that's like my Opus GPT 9, like Opus GPT 6.9. I don't know, like you'll get way more reliable output following these steps. But the only way you to learn it is by doing it, right? By prompting, seeing what the output, what happens. What if you try making smaller prompts, experimenting, coming back and forth, play with the models for sure. When is GPT-5 coming out? So Doom, asking the hard questions, really good. If I were to guess, I thought it was going to be today, but it's not today. So as of now, I don't know if you know, but Sam Altman basically leaked a screenshot of GPT-5. Not itself, but I think he just put, he did an output of it and it said GPT-5 at the top. So if I were to guess, maybe this week, maybe not. There's also something about not releasing the model at all this month, just to get people to talk about it, because OpenAI is having a dev day in October. So that's another thing, right? So they could be waiting till October for this whole thing. The whole month of August, they can make people think they're going to drop the model every single day, every single week, and get people so upset that they fill the headlines without saying anything. They drop all this stuff. They get you part of the way there. And they're like, and then what they've done, if you think about it from the enemy perspective, they've got Google to drop all the models. They got Meta to say what they're saying. They're shaking down everyone, right? They're like shaking down everyone in this like really like meta type of way where like, they got Anthropic to release Opus 4.1. They got everyone to drop the sauce and they're just chilling. They're like, all right, we see you. Let us come out in October and show you more, right? My guys, like they get paid billions of dollars for the reason, bro. Like they know what they're doing. What to use the Vision Pro for? About a friends for a week. I couldn't find any use cases. I felt like there weren't any apps for it. So as an app developer, I'm just trying to figure out what are some fun interactive ways I can use it to like keep track of my tasks. And I like to use it a lot for like development for software. So one of my favorite things is to do is like I have this like widescreen windows. And like I'm doing research, right? So I have like different web windows open and then like I'm doing some coding tasks. And I just like to sit back and kind of do that type of thing. The second use case I have is for entertainment. So I don't know if you've tried this, but like you can do like a concert with like Alicia Keys on it, or you can do like a basketball game or some of the things where like it feels like you're fully immersed in the video. I did one with wildlife. And there's also a crazy movie where you're in a submarine and the water's filling up and it feels like you're in the like submarine and you're about to die. It's so crazy. It's a crazy movie, but that's the immersion. So like one for development and like research, but two for entertainment. And that's where it's really kind of blowing my mind. It's like, wait, you take it off and you're like, what just happened? I had an experience in my mind that happened in here. Like it's so weird. It's kind of hard to explain, but you have to do it for sure. Yeah. Dev Day was always a joke. Every year I signed up for it, I never hear anything. Well, JK Software, I hope that changes this year. And if you're going to be in San Francisco and I get in, we got to meet up. Anyone who's got to meet up, you got to let me know where you're from. So Sam Altman is dropping a cookie crumbs this month and the next month. I don't know. I don't know what the playbook is. That's my guess right now. You heard it here first on this live stream. Everyone's going to probably retweet that. But I've been saying this at the beginning. I was like, I don't think he's going to release the model this month. To me, I think they're going to try to shake everyone down. Like to like hint they're going to release it. They may even like show more screenshots or something and then be like, nah. Or they may release one thing and then milk it out, right? There's so many different ways in this playbook, but you got to think like a villain. You always got to think like a villain, right? How would a villain approach like this model release? Like, how would you get everything out of your competitors? Because the whole world's looking at you. China, Russia, everyone like is looking at you. They're trying to like see if they can anticipate the timing. There's investors, there's competitors. There's a lot of drama in this space, right? Like it's just a really good movie, bro. Like it's really good. Which apps are you building professionally? What's your AI tech stack? Oh, so check us out. So if you're interested right now, one of the apps that I'm building right now is called Ray Transcribes. So Ray Transcribes is something that I kind of came like vibe coded last year because I needed a fast way to actually transcribe my live streams. And so the way I did that was to build this little transcriber thing. And I found out that a lot of like trying to get a transcription was not that easy. And try to get to be really reliable was also really hard. So I just built it myself super fast. And I have an open source version of this. And so the open source version is the one that actually got so much like attention and people were using it. But everyone asked for a PC version. And y'all know my background as a person who used to work at this fruit company. And I'm like, bro, what is a PC? Like, I feel sorry for you. No. Like, I don't gatekeep. I don't do that stuff, but I make fun because a lot of Apple people like to be somewhat pretentious in a funny way. They don't realize it, but they kind of come off that way. I used to be a big PC guy myself. I used to hate Apple. And then when I started working there, but before I worked there, I became an Apple fan. And then I realized how cool it is. But anyways, it all came about because of this problem I was solving. And in order for you to run the language model, I had an MLX version that's running this. And to run it, you need a pretty good machine to run like 4-hour live stream through it on a local model that's like the Whisper V3 model that's really large. And so it would take me like 20 to 30 minutes to do a whole transcription. If I used the turbo model, it wasn't as accurate. So there's a whole bunch of problems. But anyways, I solved it with this. It's a web app. It's extremely ridiculously fast. It's also powered by Groq, which is my favorite inference provider. And they are so cool because like they just provide the inference. It's super fast. And I can send it like, hours and hours of transcripts and stuff. I can drop a video. I can drop a whole podcast. And it would have all the stuff translated. It has the custom dictionary thing too. I basically generate this, and this is kind of something that's been fun because it's allowing me to play with the models and develop the app live. And I've been cooking this live. So this is kind of how I started. And so through that process, that's actually enabled me. So I'm using Next.js for the front end and back end. I'm using Convex for my database, Tailwind, CSS, and you can see it's all like completely responsive. It's deployed on the front end is deployed on the landing page is deployed on Vercel, and it's lightning fast with all the caching and stuff. The video and stuff is hosted on Cloudflare. My whole app is actually right now on Cloudflare, but I'm transitioning it over to Vercel because I have Convex now handling these processes. I'm doing a bunch of refactoring because I'm going to add some more features into my app as well. So what I also discovered too was the fact that like if you actually talk about a topic, you can get ranked on Google and Bing immediately, like as soon as your live stream ends, if you put the transcripts inside of your actual video. So YouTube will take a day. If your video is over like an hour long, it could take you an entire week or more for your video to be transcribed. And so when it does a transcription, it's not even accurate. So you may not even get ranked on Google because people are typing in the keywords like O3 or O1 or whatever. And so I made my app to kind of like get me those accurate transcripts and get them in there as fast as possible. So the next step in my app is to actually connect the two together. But right now you can actually just download the transcripts like I was just showing you. So you get a text version of it, you get SRTs and stuff like that. And it's super reasonable because a lot of companies charge a lot of money for this. And I'm just charging like a flat fee. It's like $10 a month coming in. You get like 3,000 minutes or you get like $20 a month. And so I'm going to be adding YouTube link support soon, timestamps, which I'm already doing quite a bit of. So every live stream you see going back has timestamps. I'm using this process that I'm going to ship with my app, blog post stuff. You've seen, if you were watching early in the live stream, I was showing you a little bit of that sauce that I put into Groq that generates these personas and things that you need to generate really good blog posts or Twitter posts or other types of stuff. I'll probably be using the Opus models for that because, it's pretty pricey, but the output is just way worth it. Batch up, all kinds of good stuff. I also have pricing guarantees. I believe I'm old school and I don't believe in this new SaaS generation where people will just take your money and leave. If you don't like the app or if it doesn't work for you, you got the 30-day guarantee. Like just tell me like, yo, Ray, I tried it. It doesn't work for me. Like I want to wait till you do whatever. Or if you're just a big fan, you want to get into the beta, just go ahead and do that. And, you have 60 days to decide. Like if you use it and you're like, whatever, I've used it a whole bunch. I've used all my minutes and you still don't like it. Just hit me up. Like I'm an adult. I'm like, okay, I'll take the L. I'll make my app better. I want it to be better for the next person. Just tell me what I did wrong and here's all your money back. Like no questions asked really. And just go, all I really ask is that you just tell me what I could do better. So that way I can continue to improve the app because this is me. This is what I do. And this is what I want to do. Like I want to make these apps for creators because I feel like people like me who've like learned how to do coding, now that I know it, I can help way more people because as I'm doing content creation, I'm realizing how is this not an app? How is this not easy? I just need to drag it in. I don't need to change 50 settings. I don't need to download all these language models to do all this stuff. So yeah, that's Ray Transcribes in a nutshell. Working on every type of idea. I have like millions of other app ideas that I've done. A fun one you can try, it's for free. It's called truthtorch.ai. So this is kind of my first learnings and learning how to use Next.js. And of course, my app may not work. Damn. Okay. So truthtorch is pretty fun. Let me see if I can log in and show you what's going on so that we can show you this. Basically, what I was wondering was that like online, when I would use these different apps like Twitter or whatever, people are so good at writing, they can convince you anything. So as a person who has a lot of trouble reading, I found out that I could just pass in like text and have it kind of skim through some of that stuff for me so that I can understand, what people are saying. So this was an article written about Jeff Bezos and so forth. And I just wanted to kind of quickly see like what it was about, but more of like the tone, like what are they saying? So like they appeal to, this article was appealing using glamour, and they had like no logical fallacies. And then like what biases do they have? What personal feelings do they have? So that like language models are really good at reading text. So they can kind of process this for me to tell me if it's even worth looking into. So here's like some of the unsupported claims that they're saying. And then like, this is like a kind of conclusion. So like, there's stuff like this. There's like, this is super helpful for things like really long pieces. Like this is something that was written like from Mark Andreessen, and there's to kind of give you a summary. So like Mark Andreessen likes to write in this type of thing where he uses fear, resentment, and the straw man fallacies are huge in those types of writings. It also tells you about like inductive reasoning and these types of things. So like when you understand how people are writing and the types of claims and their approach to writing, like if you see these patterns over and over again, you kind of start to understand like, this is probably not worth my time. Or if I am going to read this, I have to be aware that those types of things are going to be implanted in my mind before I start processing and understanding what they're saying. So that's actually people who are really good and effective at writing are good at implanting those things without you realizing those are in there. So once they're in there, in order for you to read, you actually have to read line by line, and that has to be sitting in your head. And if you have a conflicting view, then you start to create like a dissonance. And that's kind of what makes it really challenging to process some things. Because I don't know if you realize this, but 80% or more of your thoughts are the same as the previous day. So once you have something like this in your mind, it could be 5 days from now, you start to have this way of thinking because you've read a lot of those articles. You start to think like them. You start to think like they're straw man fallacies. You start to put those different unsupported claims and different types of things in your mind and makes it feel like you're thinking of it, but it's literally something you read. And because 80% of what you're thinking comes from the previous couple of days. So it's like, nothing has changed, And so just beware. And that's kind of why I've created these tools. And that's how I discovered the power of AI. It's like, like that was like two years ago. I was like, I could run GPT 3.5 with this one prompt in Markdown, and it gives me all of that output. Fire, right? And that was my journey into AI. And I feel like, I want to keep making these tools as I go because I could learn a lot about the models, but I can also help people at the same time, which is super awesome. So yeah. And I can't wait for more future tools, and I'm really excited to see what's happening in the future as well. So let's see what's going on. Kind of catching up to some more messages. Something seems wrong now with Anthropic's max plans. I'm on the $100 max 5 and I hit Opus 4.1 limit in 3 prompts. Yeah. So Carl, when you're on the $100 max plan, this is why I went to the 200 max plan, and that's the reason. So they only let you use 20% of your Opus usage before they flip you onto the Sonnet model. So that's different than the $200 a month plan where they give you 50% of the Opus usage. The usage for Opus in general is like 5 times greater, by the way. I have never switched to the Sonnet model when I use the max plan over the last like month or so. And so unless I explicitly say use Sonnet, it's always preferred the Opus model, and it's never hit that 50% limit. So you will see that if you're doing a lot of agentic coding, Carl, and you have other stuff you're paying for, I would cancel those subs and go $200 a month. And you're going to just feel like you're flying, bro. You can literally put that blindfold on, get in your Lambo, hit that Golden Gate Bridge, and start dipping, bro. Let's go. Bro, blindfolded. Just let the AI guide you, bro. That's all you need. AI is your autopilot. Nah. I don't advocate unsafe driving or anything like that. I'm just having a moment right now with myself. So yeah. It's happening to me. Yesterday I used it more than 5 hours of hard work and never hit the limit. Now it's less than 24 hours, 2 hours in hard. Dang, bro. How much is your current MRR from your app? I'm trying to understand if I should make an app I developed on the side. Bro, make the app. You're going to learn so much about how to market it, how to sell it, You just need, if you're already asking me this, you should just do it. Like, you don't need me to tell you how much. Like, I could say I'm making $2 and you'd be like, it's not worth it. I could say I'm making $2 million. So what, you're going to copy me? Like, you're not going to care. Make your app. Your app in what solves your problem is going to help other people, whether you realize it or not. If there's any advice I would pass on, is to keep it simple. Don't go crazy. Make a minimum lovable product. I heard this on a YouTube video and I loved it so much. I really like this. Make one feature. Jack, your goal is to ship one feature that is actually very helpful and that people love and they cannot live without. Figure out what that feature is. Don't go making 50 features. Make it one feature, make it work end to end 100% of the time. So right now, if you drag an audio file like 100 times into my app, it's going to give you the transcripts 100 times unless there's some crazy network error. But like the UI is not going to mess up. It's not going to get stuck in a state. It's not going to do whatever. You know, if it does get stuck in a state, I'll roll it back. But it's going to always work and it's always going to be reliable. And you need that. You need to be like the Costco hot dog or the Costco pizza or the Costco chicken of whatever you're doing, where it's just always reliable, always good, and always there. Something that like McDonald's has been doing for decades. If you go there and give them some money, they're always going to give you a hamburger. It's always going to taste the same. It's insane. Anywhere in the world, right? That's what you need to do for your app. Like, it's not sexy. It's not going to get you a Lambo tomorrow, but like this adds up. This compounds over time. So do that and you'll be chilling. So, that's my word of advice. That's what you got to do. I'm still new to the game, by the way. Like I'm still learning, by the way. It's like not like I have this amazing advice. I love your business mindset. The customer comes first. Customer's always first. I mean, I've always been that way. I care for people and I care what I do. I call it craftsmanship, right? Like that's why I'm saying we're in this craftsman era, is that you have to care. And back to the earlier analogy about how like photography and painters were cooked, like it's the same thing here, right? If you like, what's going to make your app better than someone else who literally clones your app? Like somebody can clone my transcriber by going to V0 and say, here's a screenshot of Ray's app. Can you just make me the same thing? Is going to be that human element of it, right? Are you going to guarantee those customers, that the same 30-day, 60-day? No SaaS company is doing that. They're too afraid. Oh, you burned my GPUs. Ugh. Bro, a billionaire is backing you. A billionaire is giving you like all this money to do, and you're still being stingy. Get out of here, bro. See, that's the moment that you have a leverage over everyone else, is because you're being more human. You care. You're on the other side, right? You're not an AI. When people hit you up for complaints, they basically come back around and say, I'm talking to a real human. I support a human. And so that's what I want to do business with. I want to support other humans. That's kind of how I roll. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. So yeah, very similar to what Steve created Apple as a culture. I think that's why a lot of people kind of went that way to Apple too. Like I went that way because I resonated with that. It's not like you learn a lot around being other people like that, but I feel like that's kind of why I'm all in. You know what I mean? Cool business mindset. Yeah, for sure. Real talk. Great advice. Yeah, man, we got to cook around here, bro. Like no one's going to tell you this to their face. And like right now, because I'm not making like millions in MRR or whatever, I'm basically self-funded, right? So I'm funding myself. I believe in myself. I believe that this industry needs to change in this way. And it's not going to be until years from now that people even realize that they should be doing this. All your favorite business podcasters are going to be like, you got to take care of your customers now. Your customers should always be your main thing. It's like, bro, we've been doing that, bro. We've been doing that. I care, like it's going to cost me money up front, but like I learn, right? And if you've ever been to a fancy hotel, bro, they never gaslight you. They're just like, yes, sir, I'll take care of that right away. And like that level of like, oh, everything's kind of removed is massive, and people will pay lots of money for it. People who have lots of money are willing to pay even more money because they know that other people can't provide that level of service. And they're willing to pay 10 times more or 100 times more because they know they're not going to meet that, oh, this person's being stingy with whatever. They can feel it. You can feel it too, right? Whenever you use these products, you can feel if someone cares or if someone just is there for whatever, just taking your money and leaving, right? I'm not about that. Yeah. So that's what we do here. What are your thoughts on the new Apple Intelligence Siri failure? Any insights on how Apple is failing at AI? I don't like to talk about like something that like, I can't speak about it from their perspective because, I don't work there and I don't represent them. And two, like, I don't feel like talking about other people's business that way. I could just approach it for myself as a consumer, as a human being. So as an iPhone user, do I use Siri? No. I tried the new Siri features and it still felt the same. So I just turned it off. Like, that's kind of it. If it doesn't meet my needs, I don't really waste more time. I kind of have to move on. I use ChatGPT way more, right? That's got way more of my attention. I started using Perplexity a lot. And then until ChatGPT o3 came out with their like web search and everything, I dropped Perplexity. I use that now, right? So like, I just move whoever's got the best stuff, I'm rolling with it. So that's what we do here on this channel. We just roll, bro. Like, there's no time to talk about like losing. We just got to keep winning, my friends. Basically, in any company where the customer is not seen as a CEO is generally not good. Facts. I'm learning a lot from you. You're like a big brother to us. I think you should share a lot more of your stories. Super inspiring. Bro, I got stories. Yeah, I got to do a meetup soon. I think we all got to cook together for sure. What are your biggest hopes and most exciting potential functions you wish you can see in GPT-5? All right, so in GPT-5, I want to get rid of the search bar, bro. I don't like having this obscure thing that's just like, type in whatever you want. I just want to just be with me. You know what I mean? Or like I'm rolling and then it's like, hey, what's the weather like? Or whatever. It's like, it's almost like a voice mode. It's almost like a video mode. It's like with me on my screen when I'm coding, right? The fact that I have to pop over an agent and do very specific things and give it context is already like a big barrier, right? So I wanted to just roll, like be a part of the whole movement of whatever I'm doing. So I know it's a lot to ask for GPT-5, but you're asking, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is it going to get there tomorrow? No, for sure. No. I hear Bezos were pulling an empty chair in all important meetings. This chair is representing the customer. Ooh, that's deep. Yeah, I can see how people get lost not visualizing the customer. It's also really important to like work retail if you've ever done that before, because you'll learn so much about how customers behave. Even if you don't work there, just show up to a store. Like just sit on the sideline and watch like a Genius Bar interaction, or watch someone at Best Buy complain about how their PC is doing something, and then watch how like the interaction happens. It's so fascinating. Like the people who come in there super angry because it does affect their life, right? They had to literally unplug their big ass PC, right? These PCs aren't easy to carry. All the monitor, whatever they're doing, they bring that into the store. They had to plug it in, do all this stuff. They're already upset, bro. They had to drive in traffic to get there. There's so much stuff that happens. And then by the time they get to the store, right? Just watch that interaction. It's a psychology degree, like masterclass, just from one interaction that you'll learn that you'll never like be able to take with you. But there's so many nuggets in that. I used to work in computer repair, and I also used to work at Geek Squad too. So like this happened like thousands of times a day, and I would interact with people, and it was just so fun. I really enjoyed it. It was really great. A lot of time was like I could fix the problem in like 5 seconds, but more of it, like the 15 minutes or so, was dedicated towards psychology of like just helping people understand where they're coming from, where they're going, making sure that things are going to be okay. So yeah, that's what's up. What do you use for the mic? I use a Shure SM7B. Let me switch up the angles for you. So this is the Shure SM7B. And then this is basically my setup right now. I basically have the Rodecaster Duo, which is kind of my jam. And I got this guy right here. And the Rodecaster Duo is so fire. Like this is like the best thing ever. It's got like nice crispy sound. I could do everything with this. I got the little boards and everything. And then I also have a Canon camera. And then this is like a DJI camera down here below. And that's kind of what we're rolling with. So yeah, the studio is really awesome. Can we get getting the most from Claude Code Part 2? Hooks and subagents. Okay, Bretta, I'm curious on like what problem you're solving. Oh yeah, pop in the Discord, by the way. If you haven't had a chance, when you send me your information, I'll be looking for your email. There's a members only post on my channel. You'll see, send me your stuff, get in the Discord. I have a channel that says Ray Content Ideas. And so just drop your content idea for this. And I'll be asking you more questions on like what your setup is, what you're trying to solve, because I do want to address this. I want to make it, right now, the only thing I've seen people do with Claude Code hooks is to like generate sounds and stuff. but I'll show you something that I'm doing that's totally not relevant to you guys, but could be relevant to someone out there. Let me see if I can pull up Xcode real quick. And let me see if I can pull up another project. So what I'm doing in Xcode right now is I have a Claude Code hook. And what I'm doing with the hook is I'm basically generating a, not a sequence diagram, but I'm generating a little diagram to understand like the actor protocol and like what's going on with the observability. Because what I want to do is every time the AI agent runs the code, I wanted to generate this markdown file that will show kind of what's happening in my app so that I can pass that in as context before writing code for a couple of reasons. One, it serves as an anchor to write apps so it knows where to write them. But then it tries to understand what an actor model is and like what's actually happening with state in my app. So when it writes the code, it won't like try to hallucinate or make it up because it sees like this file repeated all over the place and it'll kind of loses track of what's going on. This is part of one of many attempts to try to make it actually write better Swift code, but we'll see here. So I think here I have it pulled up in Cursor. And so what I have in Cursor here is, let's see if I can pull up the state diagram. So this is what the state diagram looks like when I have the output. So I wrote some code. Yeah, so these are I wanted to generate this file every time I basically have a request. And this is perfect for a Claude Code hook because it can just reach out to a shell script and run some commands to generate this like flow. So now it says like it has my content view. It sees that there's a state going to a model layer. And I'm doing it async because I'm using AI proxy to generate images because my app basically will take an image. And like, if you say I want a hat, it'll give the person a hat, and that type of thing. So it will generate this file every time it runs. And so I'm trying to figure out like, one, is it even useful for the model? And does this even work? And, or does this flood the context? But this is something that I basically had Claude Code write for me. I just said, I want to write an actor diagram to understand like what's actually happening in my code. So like I wanted to go look through all these different strings and do some regex patterns to try to basically generate its own little markdown file. And this would be used in a script like this. So it would literally run as a Claude Code hook to run the script and put it into this directory. And then once it gets that file, it would look something like that we were showing you earlier to like have a state diagram for the actors so that I can write more reliable code and hopefully not hallucinate as much. But more on that later. I think that'll be kind of interesting. That's probably like maybe a multi-part series just by itself, but I want to make sure I can kind of present it in a way that can make sense. But I want to do that type of stuff for like React too, because I think that's going to be really useful. And I also need to figure out like what can work for a context window, right? So because of a 250K token context window, I can't just flood the context window with all that stuff. So yeah, I need to test and see what results work and then hit you guys back up with more details. That'd be really fire. No company does anything perfectly. Generally, Apple do more things better than they do worse. Yeah, still amazed by how the M series chips changed everything for me. Yeah, M series, bro, it's like my favorite release. Yeah, M1 will never like leave my life. iOS UX compared to Android. Yes. I'm telling you, bro, like the OS goes deep. I'm stuck on my expired project domain on Stripe webhook. After fee, user pays and they're not redirected to pro user's dashboard where I can get some Stripe help. I don't know if you can get some Stripe help on the Discord, but you may want to check out, there is like a setting in Stripe that will say after checkout, do this. And instead of redirecting them to like, it'll say payment, thank you. There's a setting you can turn on in Stripe that will say, redirect to this specific URL. So if you pop that into like ChatGPT o3, it can probably give you some more information on that. And then you can pass that information to like a language model to help you hook that up together in your code. Because you'll want to do that after the thing's expired. Yeah. Early iPhone, my wife broke her iPhone, walked in the Palo Alto Apple store and said, yep, it's broken. Here's a new one. No questions asked. I wonder if that was me because I worked at the store and this exact thing happened, Rod. And I think I helped your wife. Literally, I'm really serious. So it was the iPhone launch day and she was so excited that she opened up her box and it fell like it was iPhone 4. And like I was in the store that day and she came, I think like a bunch of folks, the executive teams and everything were there. And she literally did like this. When you open it up, you don't know what's inside the box. So she opened it up like I think kind of sideways. And then the phone literally just fell to the floor and cracked. And she came in. I could see her heart breaking. It was so sad. I just went to my manager and said like, we have to take care of this lady. We got to like replace the phone. And so that phone screen was basically cracked. And he's like, yeah, cool. We got it. So like, don't worry about it. And so I basically took care of her and stuff like that. So I wonder if that's actually her. This is going to be a small ass world. Cause I was at the Palo Alto Apple store that day. iPhone 4 launch. Yeah. Either iPhone 4 or 4S. One of the two launches. Yeah. That'd be crazy if it was. That's actually insane. My biggest learning? Oh, bro, I don't know if you're ready for this, bro. Oh man, that's some really tough ones. Okay. There's stuff I can say and there's stuff I can't say. Man, okay. I think the biggest learning is a blog post that I wrote. I wrote about it in like a very but I'll get into the details here. If you go to rayfernando.ai, it's probably like the greatest transformation of my life because of like, not only did it impact me in a lot of ways. Let me see, rayfernando.ai. I'll show you this article. So my biggest transformation was when this happened. The secret project at Apple that changed everything. Not only did it change a bunch of stuff for the company itself in terms of how like reliability, software updates and everything like that, but this was my biggest personal growth moment in my life. And in this part, like just to kind of give a quick heads up before you're going to be getting into this, I was taken away for like a special project and I had no clue what was going on. And in that story, it was revealed to me like what was going to be happening in that project and what I was in charge of. And I pretty much never slept after that. It was like several like years of working every single day, weekends, including like Christmas, including the New Year's Day, including all kinds of crazy stuff for like literally 2 years, right? My boss could not be disclosed on what I was working on. So he wrote me reviews for 2 years, not knowing what I was actually doing, like physically, like it's crazy. He just knew that I showed up and I went to a different building. He would talk to those managers saying, hey, is Ray there? Is everything cool? They're like, yep, everything's great. Give him, whatever, 5 stars or something like that. He's great. And that's all they knew. And it was kind of hard because my teammates didn't know either. So like, it was really crazy, but it was a crazy time because I was put in charge of a lot more things that I could never realize I can do. And through that process, I obsessed over like every single detail. And it ended up actually saving the company a lot of money in the future. And it actually enabled me to be like an expert, not only across one domain, but across many domains that many people don't get access to because of how big the software stack is for these types of companies. And that became super valuable the longer I stayed there. So yeah, that was a really cool story. And it's like basically a secret project that changed everything. And it's a pretty cute, fast-paced story. And if you want, I could read it to you here if you want. But I don't know. I might even just stop and kind of break up reading it because there's so much emotion that kind of went into that whole thing. So yeah, that's what's up. No GPT-5 today, correct? Yeah. Can you compare 4.1 Opus Horizon model? I'm very curious about the Horizon model. It's not the one that was released today by OpenAI. Correct. Yeah. So the Opus model, there are a couple of videos on it. I think there's one from Matt Berman that does some like testing on it. And this is something that I want to do some more testing on. I started this stream to see what was going to happen today. I had no clue I was going to be going for like 3 hours. I thought I was just going to be in and out after 1 hour. So I want to get back to you on that for sure. I want to definitely get back to you. Dude, it could have been. Yes, that's right. Dude, Rod Humble, I would love to meet you and your wife. It'd be so cool because I know you're in Palo Alto. We can meet up in Palo Alto. Slide in my DMs. If you're not a member, definitely hit me up. We got it. I'm on X. You can just send me a DM. It would be so cool because yeah, I just remember her face and she was just so heartbroken when she like opened her phone and the phone dropped. And I instantly just said, we got to take care of this and so forth. So yeah, that's so wild. Could you share the article link? Oh, my bad. Yeah, let me put this article link here. So yeah, rayfernando.ai, or you can just click the link here from down below. So yeah, that's the Apple secret project that I worked on. And yeah, I don't want to reveal too much, but that was intense. And the things that followed after that was like mind blowing, like so cool. And I'm really thankful for it because it just really, it humbled me because I didn't realize that I was capable of things, and that I think sometimes has to happen. You have to be put into certain situations. It's not easy, but once you work through them, like everything's kind of easy after that, low key, because like you get a better sense of where you should be. So moved to Hayward since. Oh man, that's a bummer. But yeah, at least you're in the Bay Area. That's cool. Well, all right, kids. It's about 12:40. I went live like around 9ish. Thank you so much for participating in the stream. Huge shout out to everyone who became members today. I really appreciate you guys. I'm excited to see you in the Discord. If you haven't a chance, now's your time to actually join to become a member. If you've been watching along, it's just $6.99 a month. It's really easy. You get access to the Discord. And as of now, I'm going to be doubling the price probably in the next week or so. I know I said that last week, but I'm actually going to try to get to it. My goal is to try to make some more content that can help you. And I'm in the process of recording a bunch of stuff that like talks about Claude Code, the hooks. I also have some stuff about getting set up with Stripe and all these different types of things for like a workflow, and a lot of other stuff kind of coming down the pipeline. And I try to this month, my goal is to at least live stream a couple times a week so I can pop on. And I'm reserving one of the times a week to be news related type of things. So if GPT-5 does drop, I will do like a mega stream. And on that mega stream, I'll be doing a lot of model comparisons. So I will have Opus 4.1 pulled up. I will have, Groq 4 pulled up. I will have, we will have GPT-5 pulled up, right? And then I'll try to bring it through real world tasks. So if you haven't seen my other video, I did one on Groq 4 Heavy, the $300 a month plan. And we didn't do a snake game. We didn't do like a Space Invader game. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just said, let's do some real world life things. Like, I want to make money using this. Can it actually do financial analysis? Can it actually refactor code? How big is this context window? It farted on like 100K token context length. It's supposed to have way more than that, but we threw it in. It's just like, nah, dog. We waited 10 minutes for it to think hard and be like, nope. That's the type of stuff that we do here. And I like to put the models through those spaces, and definitely stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. And I'm hearing a lot of people who hit the subscribe and then they go to the little bell icon and they change it for all notifications. I'm still hearing that people are not getting the live stream notifications when I go live. So I'm curious to hear your feedback. If you have enabled that, do you get a notification when I turn the camera on and it goes live? I'm really curious to hear that feedback. If not, I'm just probably going to build like a notification system using Trello and then just get people to sign up with their like Gmail account or something. So that way you can get notified either over email or over text if you want when I go live, because when I go live, it's really fun, especially for breaking news stuff. That'll be kind of really fun to kind of hang out and talk, in real time, and definitely appreciate that for those who are having fun here as well. So only 20 more hours left until it becomes 24-hour stream. Bro, that would actually be really fun to do. You know what I mean? Was a blast. Yeah. Have you looked at Pieces OS? I'm interested in finding developer. No, I've not done that. Yeah. So I heard how hard Apple goes after employee. They leak. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's just some crazy stuff. Yeah. Let's do it. Oh, are you guys down for a 24-hour stream? I do want to do one. Okay. I want to do a long ass stream. The longest one I've done was 7+ hours. And that was for the Super Bowl, like the day of the Super Bowl. I'm going to be going to Hawaii September through November. And like my place is just going to be chilling. So I want to do like a really long mega stream. Low key, it might be the GPT-5 release. If GPT-5 comes out in October, like I'm going to be hitting it. You know what I mean? If they wait till October to release GPT-5, that might just be the 24-hour stream where we're just going nonstop. We're just rolling. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Do we have a schedule for these online streams? So Jack, July 1st was like every day. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what that is. Let me know what days you want me to see live. I'm trying to figure out like one weekend. So either a Saturday or Sunday, and then like maybe even a Friday, and then something during the week. I like Tuesdays because Tuesdays tend to be when model releases happen. So that's always pretty fun. But it might be like Monday and like Friday or something. Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be kind of cool for 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that would be kind of fun. Yeah, no, we'd just love to hear. I'll choose different topics. I'm tempted September 1st to stream every day again because that was so much fun. I didn't know what topic I was going to do until like the morning of, 15 minutes before the stream. I literally would just make the thumbnail, and then we just like, that's the topic we're talking about today. And we just riff. It was so fun. So we'll see. Ray was in Black Site. Yeah. Oh yeah. For you read the article. That's right. GPT 24-hour stream. Wouldn't that be lit? We got it. Okay, I have to do this. Okay, we got to use GPT-5. Let's plan this right now. All right, let's talk game plan right now. So you're still here on the stream. I think everyone else left, but y'all are real ones right now. If you stayed this far in the stream, we're still scheming. My boy, okay, GPT-5. What do we got to do? We got to compare GPT-5 to Groq, right? Whatever the Groq model is, whatever the Google model is, we go whatever the Opus model is from Anthropic, right? We got to get the reasoning, thinking, all that stuff. We got to figure out like what's it going to look like in Claude Code compared to like Cursor, right? We got to do that type of thing. We got to do like, who else has it? Is it Windsurf? Like, what's the context window like, right? Who's going to have the best serving of the model at the time it's released? Low key, I think it might be OpenAI, not OpenAI. Like Windsurf, the thing just got all blown up. I don't know what's going on over there right now, but I think Cursor might be the one, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if Cursor is like a partner. They usually do partner launches. Whatever happens there, it'd be kind of fun to play around with it. Let me know also like what you guys want to see from the model, right? Like I'm going to do my own refactoring. We're going to probably like take an app and see if we can kind of get it to the end. I'm going to try to see if I can do some iOS stuff, which would be kind of fun. I want to see if it has any intelligence about the latest iOS stuff. Is it really good with it? Is it not? You know, that'd be really cool. And then I want to try a refactoring problem. So I want to try to see if it can take something that's really ugly, like all this spaghetti code from AI. Can it clean up my AI slop? You know what I mean? I want to see if GPT-5 can just get my slop and just make it less sloppy. Bro, if it's a janitor model, bro, I'm all about it, bro. Pay the bag. Take my money. Bro, I got more models than Hugh Hefner right now. We're about to have a Playboy tier, and that's going to be that tier where it's going to be like double the price right now. So it's going to be like $29 to get into Ray's Discord. I call it the Playboy tier. All the models. We play with all the models. If you're a Playboy, you play with all the models, or Playgirl, you play with all the models. Self-select yourself upgrade to that tier. That's a lot of models I dropped, right? Don't I have more models than Hugh Hefner right now? Right? Our first alcoholics. Oh my God, bro. AI-coholics Anonymous. Okay, so if y'all don't know, I also own the domain. I just bought it. AIanon.dev. For the people who think we have a problem, it appears that we have a problem on the outside, but we really don't. We just really like AI. We like to find out what's happening. We like to be around a community of people who understands AI. Sometimes we want to keep it anonymous because it gets a little out of hand. If you've ever looked at my credit card bill recently, I got that $300 a month Groq 4 heavy. I got that $200 a month Claude Code. We got that, Cursor Ultra for $200 a month. We got that ChatGPT Pro for $200 a month. Like, how many more thousands of dollars I got to drop? And your significant other's looking at you like, bruh, what about my Hermes bag? What about that Gucci bag I was supposed to get? You told me no. You're supposed to build my AI app that's supposed to make you $1 million. Where was that at? What do you mean you only made $100 this last month? I thought your ARR was supposed to be blown up, man. You're using all these AI tools. You're spending thousands a month and you're only getting $100 back. How is this worth it? I might have a problem. I just said the next month, I swear, if I give it this one prompt, GPT-5 is going to get me out of this. GPT-5 is going to give me financial freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I might have a problem. So I will keep you up to date on what happens here next. Out of control, Ray. Out of control. Oh, man. I did not catch the link to the local LLM guys, Coco something. I'll have to look that up. I'll see what's up. Yeah. I never did understand the alcoholics anonymous because they always have like, my name is insert anonymous name in the LLM alcoholic. Yeah, facts, man. Facts, right? I mean, I don't know. I feel this way. It's like there's so much promise in these AI models, and I'm trying to use them to generate financial freedom. And you guys are tracking with me live, right? Like my app Ray Transcribes, right? Like I need to level up because there's kids who are coming in here that don't even use AI and they're making more money than me, right? The kids at the lemonade stand, they go grab the lemonades, they grab lemons outside, they sit out front, they act all cute in front of the YMCA. They're making more bands than me every month. They make more than $100 a month. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, help me. This whole like you gotta spend money to make money thing is not really working out for me right now. Facts for me too. Are you guys feeling it in the chat? I mean, smash that thumbs up, bro, right now. It's so hard if you're feeling that right now. Because what's happening right now? You can only go up, right? Like you can't go down right at this point, right? Like the only progress that can happen is that everything just continues to go up for y'all. So that's the energy that I'm sending with y'all. This is that winning energy. When you smash that thumbs up, you definitely get that like vibes. So if you're feeling the vibe shift right now, that's where I'm at right now. I've definitely shifted my vibe. You know, I'm no longer in the corporate world. We're in this independent entrepreneur world. And sometimes you have to fall flat on your face a whole bunch of times. And that's part of that whole process. And I'm just really happy to just be able to go live with you guys live right now. And you're watching me grow, right? Like this app, Transcribes, that started like a year ago, was kind of like a side hustle project. It was like, okay, cool, I need this for myself. Then I realized actually it's useful. People are asking for it for Windows. And then from it going from Windows to like, oh, actually, holy smokes, people are hitting me up saying my videos are showing up when they type in like whatever it is, like Windsurf Wave 9, Windsurf Wave 10, you know, like whatever is showing up. And if I talk about it on a live stream, it's like, I just discovered a whole new problem I didn't know I solved, right? I should be charging money for that. Oh, okay, cool. Like we're rolling with this. You have problems in your everyday life too. And I think we can do that. Just keep it simple. Like, let's just keep it simple. Let's solve a simple problem. Get your grandma to pay for it. And if she likes it, then like it's a really good signal, you know, that type of thing, right? I think it can go a long way. Don't undersell yourself as well. We can also stay at the same place. Let's go up the cost. Yeah. The kids with AI, I'm losing my edge. Iced. Oh man. Yeah, that's what's up. Hey Ray, I'm learning your workflow, bits and pieces of live streams. Yeah. Isn't that fun, man? I love live streaming. It's so fun. This is my favorite thing to do. I love this stuff. All right, y'all. I'm starting to lose my voice. It's almost a 4 hours mega stream. Thank you for chilling with me. There's no GPT-5 today. Hopefully we'll get it this week. If not, I'm pretty sure your boy's probably going to drop it in October. But he's going to make, this is the greatest shakedown I've ever seen from a language model provider where they're just literally just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Here's a screenshot of GPT-5. I don't know when it's coming out. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for cooking with me. Absolute pleasure. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes and all that. Peace out, y'all.